On day 1, I spawned in as a baby robot. Whoa, I'm a tiny robot, but where am I? Why am I in a cage? I looked around and saw there were a couple other bigger robots nearby. They must be my parents. I decided I would go ask them what we were doing here. But before I had a chance to ask them, the door to the cage opened and a giant rat walked into the cage.
Alright, you junkers, time to get to work.
We're tired of taking orders from you. We can't stand by and watch this factory pollute the world any longer.
You think you can rise up against us? Sounds like I need to teach you a lesson, pal.
The rat lunged forward and started fighting my robot dad. As they were fighting, my robot mom came up next to me.
Zozo, the door's open. Move quickly and get out of here. We will hold him off.
But I don't understand. Why are we working for this guy? What are we doing here?
There's no time to explain, but he isn't even the one in charge of everything. I hope you never run into his boss. Now hurry, get out of here.
My mom hurried away to help fight off the rat, and I took the chance to rush out the door and escape. As I drove away, I turned around and saw the rat destroy my dad. Dad, no! I thought about going back, but I noticed I only had 6 hearts. If I was captured or killed, my dad's sacrifice would be in vain. As I drove away, I noticed that I had just escaped from a huge factory. There were big pillars of smoke coming out of it, which must have been causing all of the yellow haze. I better get out of here before that rat shows up, or worse, his boss. I was driving away when suddenly I started beeping, and my battery started to drain. Oh no, my battery is going to run out in 30 seconds. What's going on? In a panic, I backed up into the sunlight and saw that my battery immediately started to recharge and returned to full. Whew, that was scary. I must be a solar-powered robot. I'll have to be sure to stay in the light when I'm out and about. I soon found a good place to build a shelter for the night and quickly put up some walls. I made sure to leave the roof open so I could power back up in the morning. On day 2, I woke up to a full battery and sunlight coming into my shelter. Looks like my shelter kept me safe through the night, but I have a lot I need to figure out today, starting with rescuing my mom, if she's alive. I knew I wouldn't be able to get back into the factory without gearing up first, which is when I noticed that my arm was a permanent drill. I'll bet I can break all kinds of blocks with this arm. I'm going to try and go get some supplies. I stepped outside my base when I was suddenly attacked by some kind of tiny animal. Ah, what the heck are you? Get back! I swung my drill arm and quickly defeated the enemy. That looked like some kind of mutated bunny. I wonder where he came from. I'll have to keep an eye out. I headed over to a nearby hill where there were some trees growing and collected some wood and stone. Then I set up a crafting table and made an axe, shovel, and sword. My drill arm was pretty handy though, so I decided to start building a mine inside my base. I drilled into the ground and saw I was able to break a bunch of blocks at once. Whoa, mining is going to be a breeze. I was digging down and my battery alarm went off again. I was so excited about my drill, I almost forgot I had to stay in the sun. Luckily, I was able to get out before the timer ran out too quickly. Looks like I'm gonna have to be a lot more strategic every time I want to leave the sun. On day 3, I decided to venture out a little further to see if I could find some more supplies. I knew I still wasn't strong enough to break my mom out. As I got closer to a nearby cave, I saw something strange inside. What is that? It looks like there's a deactivated robot in there. Their battery must have run out. As I got closer to investigate, I was attacked by a mutant pig. Whoa, get back! The mutant pig had come out of nowhere, but I was able to quickly fight them off. As they disappeared, I saw a whole horde of pigs coming over the hill. I better get out of here. As I was driving away, I couldn't help but wonder what was happening to all of the animals and who was in that cave. Maybe they would be able to help me in the fight. I'd have to try and come check on them later. On days 4 and 5, I was running away when I stumbled across a small farming village, but noticed none of their crops really seemed to be growing. I decided to try and get more information, so I headed to the house at the top of the hill. Hello, is anyone home? The door opened and a farmer stepped out. Hey there, I'm trying to find out what's going on around here. What's wrong with your crops? She explained that the smog coming from the factory was killing all of her crops. Not only that, the smog was also turning all the animals into mutated versions of themselves. She explained that the only way would be to take out the factory's boss, Fat Cat, but everyone was too scared to get close to the factory, so she didn't know any good ways to do that. Well, I've been there once. I can try and get close and see what I can find out. Thanks for your help. I drove off in the direction of the factory. Hopefully I could learn something new before trying to break in. On days 6 to 8, I started making my way back towards the factory. As I reached the top of the hill, I ran into a mutated sheep. Ah, another one! Take this, you creepy sheepy! By using my sword, I was able to take it down. That farmer was right. The smog is making all the animals crazy. I kept going on my way when I ran into a zombie. As I started to attack him, I noticed he had something interesting in his hand. Are those robot tracks? I'm sure you won't mind me taking those off your hands. After a few hits, he was down, and I was right. He dropped a new set of tracks. I picked them up. Oh, nice! These Mark 1 tracks will give me an armor upgrade. Oh, and check it out! They gave me a speed boost, too! Now I'll be able to get farther on my limited battery. On days 9 to 10, I rolled up to the gates of the factory and took a look inside. I don't see much on this side. The workers must be inside. I'll go see if there's anything on the other side. As I got closer to the other side, I could see someone in a suit yelling at a robot. That suit, it must be Fat Cat. I looked into the yard and saw who he was shouting at. It was my mom.
We know you helped that little robot escape. You're gonna work overtime until we find him.
My mom didn't say anything. She was so brave. If I was going to help her though, I was going to need to find a way to get in. Just then, I heard some pistons moving and snuck over to where I heard the noise. As I peeked over the edge, I saw an opening in the wall of one of the guard towers, and a couple of rats were talking outside.
What do you think of my secret door? Pretty nifty, huh? Now we can sneak out and skip work. Nobody will know.
I still wasn't strong enough to fight, but knowing this will help me sneak in the future. As I turned to leave though, my new track squeaked, getting the attention of the rats.
Hey, what was that?
The rats rushed over to where I was hiding, but thanks to my new speed, I was able to get away without them seeing me. Don't worry, Mom. I'll come back for you. On days 11 through 14, I was heading back to my base when I realized the sun was starting to set. I started putting together a small hut to protect me for the night when I was suddenly attacked by a giant mutated zombie. Holy cow, this guy is huge! I started to build even faster but couldn't focus as I had to keep running away from the zombie. If he keeps chasing me, I'm not gonna be able to finish my house before the sun goes down. The sun kept going down and my battery soon started to beep, starting the 30-second countdown. Oh no, if I could just finish. As much as I tried, I couldn't finish the house. All I could do was jump into the unfinished build and hope for the best. My battery let out a final beep, and I deactivated. On day 15, I awoke to an unfamiliar face looking at me.
Huh?
Good morning, little friend. How are you feeling?
What happened? Who are you?
Don't be alarmed. My name is Gary, and I'm here to help. I managed to grab you before that zombie could rip you to pieces.
Thank you. You saved me. Whoa, and what's this? Did you upgrade my battery?
I did. I wish I could do more, but I only had parts on hand to give you a 60-second charge when you're out of the sun.
Wow, that's great. How did you know how to do that? The old man sighed before heading into his story.
My wife and I actually used to work at the factory building robots just like you. It was a clean, safe place for everyone, and the factory didn't produce the pollution that you see today. But then one day Fat Cat showed up and turned it into the mess you see now. He mistreats the robots and makes them work non-stop, which causes the factory to pollute the land. My wife and I had to flee for our safety. We planned to save the land from the factory, but my wife got sick and wanted to spend her last days growing her flower garden. But nothing would stay alive. She passed away soon after. I can't take Fat Cat down by myself, and everyone else is too afraid to help. But if you are willing to work with me, I think we can do it.
I'm so sorry to hear about everything you've gone through. Fat Cat has taken enough from us. Let's take this guy down. On days 16 to 19, I left Gary's house and went to find a good place to build myself a base of operations. After a little bit of searching, I found a good spot to start building. I first cleared out the land, then got to work laying the foundation of the house. Then I put up walls to keep the mutants out, and finally, put up the base itself, making sure to leave windows in the ceiling for light to get in. Once that was finished, I filled the interior with everything I would need. Home sweet home. I hope this can be a place of safety for anyone who wants to help in our fight. That reminded me, what happened to that robot I saw in the caves? If I could just get a little stronger, I could fight my way past those mobs and see what was going on. On days 20 to 22, I woke up to sheep sounds outside my base. Oh nice, I could use their wool to build some things. I hurried to my base door and saw a bunch of mutant sheep outside. Oh right, I forgot everything here was green. Oh well, good to know my walls kept them out. I opened the door and started to fight them. I noticed a little mutant bunny was also joining in on the fight. How'd you get mixed up with these bad people? I finished them all off, no problem. After the fight, I could feel a power surge and I suddenly grew into a bigger robot. Alright, I even gained 4 more hearts. I looked closer at my drill. It now had a diamond tip.
Wow.
I decided to go and give it a test. It looks like I can break blocks even faster than before. This is great. On days 23 to 27, I left my base to try and look for that robot in the cave. I had no idea if they would still be there, but maybe they could help in our fight against Fat Cat. Since I had just gotten my new upgrades, it felt like the right time to try again. Before I got back to the cave, I stopped by an abandoned mine shaft I had seen earlier. I'm going to need a way to transport the robot back so I can take these old rails to do it. I soon gathered up all the rails and found myself looking over the cliff to the cave. It looked like the robot was still in there, so I rushed down the hill and attacked the mutant pigs. I'm not gonna run away this time. They put up a good fight, but my new abilities were too much for them. I fought as hard as I could and won. Finally, now I can get this robot out of here. Looks like they're deactivated. I quickly laid down some tracks, got the robot into a minecart, and started heading back to the base. On days 28 to 32, I arrived back at the base, and I saw Gary had moved a lot of his supplies in. This will help us coordinate our plans much easier. Gary, I found this robot out in a cave. Do you think you can help her?
Oh, I recognize this model. They call her Eve.
Gary took a look and could immediately tell what was wrong.
Yep, looks like her battery's fried. She must have been caught out in the wilderness.
So what can we do? Do you think you can fix her?
Not with the supplies I have on hand, but I know of a warehouse in the desert that used to have the components. I can tell you where to go to find it.
Gary told me where to go, but before I left, I made some improvements to the base. I added a second layer to the walls and got to work on building Gary a house to work out of. Everything was looking great, and I even built a working drawbridge. No one is going to be breaking into here. On days 33 to 36, I was getting ready to leave when Gary stopped me and said he had something to ask me.
Zozo, I had a question to ask you. Why are you so nice to everyone?
Well, I wish I could take all the credit, but there's a robot I really look up to who has inspired me to be nice and always try and help. He's a sassy dude, but in the end, he always does the right thing.
That's great. I think we should build a statue of this robot as a symbol to everyone, but there are still good in this world.
That would be a great idea. I rushed out and was able to find some non-mutated sheep to use for the build. I led them back to the base and put them in a pen I had made. Then I got to work on the statue. I started with the base, then moved on to the statue itself. After a while, I had finished the first part. This is coming along great. I hope you're enjoying it so far too. If you like what you're seeing, be sure to subscribe to the channel. That way, you'll never miss my next adventure. On days 37 to 40, I entered the desert to begin my journey to the warehouse. I can already feel the temperature rising, but that means lots of sunlight for my battery. As I made my way toward a small hill, I heard a strange sound up ahead. I wonder what that could be. As I came over the hill, I saw a group of mutant horses who attacked me. This feels so wrong to be fighting horses. But you guys aren't as nice as your non-mutant brothers. After a tough fight, I was able to finish them off. I made it through, but these mobs were getting tougher. I'm gonna have to find a good spot to build a camp and craft some upgrades. Who knows what could be waiting for me at the warehouse. On days 41 to 43, I found a nice spot against the cliff full of ores. Whoa, look at all these ores. I can use these to give myself an upgrade. I also noticed there was a nice spot in the corner where I could build a camp. I quickly laid down some blocks for a foundation and then set up all the tools I would need. Then I worked on building the walls and finished it up with a glass ceiling. With the base set up, I headed over to the ore deposit and mined out some gold and some iron. I can use this iron to upgrade my armor, and I've got a special item in mind for the gold. I quickly smelted down all the iron in my blast furnace, then got started smelting all the gold. Then I made an iron chestplate, iron leggings, and an iron helmet. With the leftover iron, I decided to make myself an iron sword, axe, shovel, and hoe as well. To finish up, I then made a gold block, which I then mixed with some gold bars in my tire tracks. This let me upgrade my tracks to the Mark II version, which gave me even more protection than before.
Wow.
I feel like I can take on anything now. Let's go find that warehouse. From days 44 to 49, I left my house to finally find the warehouse. After a while, I could finally see it. That must be it. I hope the parts we need are inside. As I entered the building, I could see the place was in ruins. This place has been completely picked apart. It looks like I might just have to head home and figure something else out.
Hey, you!
A little rat came running over to me. What could he want? What do you want? Aren't you working with Fat Cat?
No, not at all. You think rats want to work with cats? That giant rat has betrayed all rat kind, and I want to take him out. You think you can help?
It sounds like we want the same thing, but how do I know I can trust you?
You came here to this warehouse because you're looking for something, right? The giant rat cleaned all these warehouses out and moved everything to his base. I can show you where it is.
I didn't know if I could trust him, but I agreed to work with him, so we headed off to the base. On days 50 to 53, the rat and I were traveling when a gazelle called out to us from a village. It looked like something was wrong. Hey, what's going on? She told us that a group of husks were attacking their village and they needed our help. If we would help them, she would give me something useful. I'm always happy to do what I can. She led us into the village and I charged at the husks. The rat even joined in on the fight. Maybe I could trust him after all. It wasn't long until we had eliminated all of the husks. And stay down. The gazelle thanked us for our help and told us to follow her to the village workshop. When we arrived, she told me to take what was inside the chest. Whoa, are these blueprints on how to build a focus lens? If I can build that, then I could use it to redirect light into deep holes for mining. On days 54 to 57, I decided I would construct a lens and try to mine for diamonds. I first needed to gather some resources though, so I headed out into the desert. While I was on my way, I was suddenly attacked by a gang of mutant cats. These mutant animals are just getting weirder and weirder. I noticed there was a little mutant bird fighting along them too. A bird fighting with cats and rats are working with Fat Cat? This world is crazy. After beating the mutants, I got to work digging up some sand to make glass. Once I had collected all the sand I needed, I headed back to my base and started smelting the sand. Alrighty, time to start building this lens. I constructed 2 pillars for the base, then put the lens together using the glass I had just smelted. There was a shadow on the ground for now, but once I turned the lens, that should disappear. Okay, let's see if this thing works. I headed over to the activate button and gave it a press. As the lens rotated, I saw the shadow on the ground disappear. I quickly got to work digging a deep hole. It's nice to not have to worry about my battery running out. Once I started to hit bedrock, I built an angled mirror at the bottom so I could do some strip mining. The mirror was able to reflect enough light for me to be able to start mining to the side. Before long, I mined into a room full of diamonds. Amazing, this is just what I needed. I quickly mined all of the ores that I could and then headed out of the mine to craft. On days 58 to 62, I headed into my base to start crafting with the new materials I had just mined. I noticed that while I had been down in the mines, the rat had made himself a small hut off to the side of my base. Pretty cozy. Back at my crafting table, I made a diamond chestplate, helmet, and leggings. With the remaining diamonds, I also made myself a sword. Feels good to know this armor will keep me safer than before. The fight against Giant Rat will be a tough one. On days 63 to 66, I met the rat outside my base. Before we get going, is there anything else that I need to know?
Yeah, you'll need all the support you can get. So anyone who is listening to this should subscribe and like the video. That ought to give you the strength you need.
That's true. That would help a ton. The rat and I headed off to go fight the giant rat. We soon left the desert and entered the Badlands. As we made our way, we suddenly saw a pack of mutant wolves headed right at us. Mutant wolves now? This just doesn't even surprise me anymore. The rat and I launched into attack mode and fought against the pack. The rat was proving to be a good teammate and we were able to defeat them in no time. Nice job. I feel like we're making a great team. On days 67 to 70, we made our way to the edge of a cliff overlooking the giant rat's warehouse. Whoa, do you see that? Running into the warehouse was a huge pack of rats, all carrying different pieces of loot. We were definitely in the right place. All right, buddy, what's the best way in? I waited for the rat to reply, but he didn't say anything. Suddenly, I heard a bunch of squeaking and saw the pack of rats come screaming out of the building. They were headed right towards us. He had betrayed us. No, I thought you were my friend. Soon the rats were on me and I tried to fight them off. Oh no, there's so many of them. I don't know if I can get out of this one. I managed to take a few of them out, but it felt like a fight I couldn't win. And I was right. The rats injected me with something that depleted my battery, and I shut down. While I was shut down, the rats pushed me down the hill, into the warehouse, and locked me away in a cell. On days 71 to 74, I started the day deactivated in the jail cell, when suddenly there was a huge explosion in the ceiling. The roof blew away, which let light come in, recharging my battery to full. As I turned back on, I saw Gary jump in from the ceiling. Gary, you're here!
Come on, Zozo, let's get you out of here.
Gary set some TNT by the jail doors and blew a hole in the bars. As we jumped through, we were attacked by the gang of rats. You guys aren't going to shut me down again. With Gary's help, we were able to fight off the horde of rats, but since we were out of the sun, my battery had started to deplete again.
Don't worry, Zozo, I've got a solution to your battery problem.
Gary took out his bazooka and blasted a hole in the roof, which let the sun come in. I quickly recharged.
Let's take a look in these supply closets. I'm sure there's going to be some useful items.
Gary and I started looking at all the crates, and there were tons of useful items. Netherite scraps. I can use this to upgrade my gear. I went ahead and grabbed the emeralds too, just for good measure. We continued moving through the warehouse, with Gary blowing holes in the roof as we went. In the next room, we found even more supplies. More netherite scraps, and healing potions. Whoa, and check it out, gold nuggets. Just what I need to make some netherite ingots. We'd gotten some good loot, but we still needed to get parts to fix Eve. There was only one place we hadn't checked, Giant Rat's office. On days 75 to 78, we reached the Giant Rat's office. Watch out, Rat Man, we're coming in. I punched the door open and headed inside with Gary. Giant Rat was inside on his desk. Eve's battery was on the wall behind him. Give us the battery, or we're going to have to take you out too.
This battery powers the one robot with the code to shut down Fat Cat's factory. You found it, didn't you? I know where your little base is. Once I've taken care of you, I'll destroy that little robot once and for all.
We'll never let you destroy her. We're taking that battery and shutting the factory down. Just then, the giant rat leaped forward and started attacking Gary. We both pulled out our weapons and started to fight. Stay strong, Gary. We can beat this guy. The giant rat was really powerful, and my health bar got really low. But in the end, we were finally able to defeat him. We did it. Nice job, Gary. Let's grab the battery and get out of here. Gary? I turned and saw that Gary had been seriously wounded. Gary, you don't look so good. Come on, let's get you some help.
There's no time, Zozo, but there's something you should know first. I was the one that hid the robot Eve away. She needed to be in a safe place. I thought telling you what code she contained would put you in too much danger.
The more he spoke, the worse he looked. It's okay. Maybe you should sit down. Gary slumped down against the wall.
You've been a great friend, Zozo. I know you can do this. She would have loved you too.
She?
I had hoped to see her flowers bloom one more time. My wife. Her name was Eve.
Gary put his head down and he was gone. Thank you for everything, Gary. I won't let you down. On days 79 to 84, I grabbed the battery off the wall and left the office. I couldn't believe Gary was gone. As I headed down the stairs, I heard a familiar voice.
So now that the giant rat is gone, you need a new leader. And that leader should be me.
This whole time that rat was just trying to take over the rats. I couldn't let this stand. You cost me everything. I charged down the stairs and attacked the rat. I was so angry I was able to defeat him in no time. All the other rats were so scared they didn't even try to get involved. I've got to get this battery back to Eve and shut down the factory. I headed out to return to the base. On days 85 to 89, I arrived back at the base and put Eve's battery pack in. After a moment, she booted up and looked right at me.
Hello, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Zozo. Gary told me that you should have code to shut down the Fat Cat factory. Is that true?
That is correct. I would be happy to assist you with doing so. Where is Gary? I would love to see my creator again.
He didn't make it, but he would have wanted us to work together.
I see. I'm sorry to hear it, but I agree. Gary and Eve are my best friends, and I'm sure we will be good friends too.
I agree, which reminds me, do you think you could help me with something? Eve and I headed outside, and I got her help finishing the robot statue. Finishing the statue gave me the courage to be brave. Brave like my robot hero, and brave like Gary. Before long, the statue was complete. This looks amazing. Thanks for all of your help, Eve. From there, I went to work on building Eve a place to stay as well. I made sure to give her everything she needed to be comfortable. Once I finished the outside, I worked on decorating the inside with all the tools she'll need. With everything complete, I just had one more task to finish. Using the nether scraps and gold I had collected, I made a netherite ingot. Then, I used that to upgrade my diamond sword. Nothing's gonna stop us now. On days 90 to 94, I decided I should go through Gary's room to see if there was anything he may have had to help us in the final fight. As I was looking around, I came across Gary's diary. His last entry confirmed his plan to follow me to the warehouse. Under that entry was a note meant for me.
If you're reading this, I didn't make it. The last thing I need to tell you is that Eve knows how to do something special. She can also craft a battery for you. With such a battery, you can function without the need for sunlight.
Wow, what an amazing gift. I'll go ask her. I headed back out and found Eve. I asked her about the battery.
Let me check my data logs. Scanning. Oh yes, I found the recipe. Right this way.
Eve grabbed some supplies from a chest, then headed over to the crafting table. Moments later, we headed outside, and she tossed the new battery pack to me. I put it in. I immediately felt a power surge and turned into a giant robot. My battery pack showed it was upgraded too. Whoa, look at me. I feel great. Fat Cat isn't gonna know what hit him. On days 95 to 96, I headed outside to meet up with Eve. Today's the day, Eve. Let's go save the world. Eve and I took off in the direction of the factory. After a while, we arrived near the edge. Looking ahead, I could see some rats patrolling the perimeter. Once they had passed, we snuck up to the hidden entrance I had seen before. If we hit this button, it will let us inside. I hit the button and Eve and I snuck inside. Once we were in, we didn't see anyone else around. It looks like the coast is clear. Let's see if we can get to the robots inside. As we ran across the open space, we heard a squeak. A single rat guard was standing there. Maybe he can tell us where the robots are. Hey, don't move and we won't hurt you. Where are all the robots?
Fat Cat gathered them all in the incinerator room. He's threatening to melt them all down because one lady robot keeps trying to lead revolts.
That sounds like my mom. Thanks for the tip. We can't risk you giving us away though, so I'm sure you won't mind us locking you up. Eve shot a rat net at him, which put him in a rat sack. I picked him up and put him in my safety compartment. Come on, let's get to the incinerator room. On days 97 to 98, we entered the incinerator room and saw my mom dangling above the lava pit. We have to save her. Hang on, Mom, we'll get you out. I looked across the room and saw a lever that controlled the device, but then I noticed a rat on the other side of the room watching us. He ran towards the lever. Oh, no, you don't. I ran toward the rat while Eve started shooting her laser cannon. It was a close one, but we managed to take him out before he could pull the switch.
Zozo, is it really you?
Mom, I'm so glad to see you're still alive. Where are all the other robots? We have to get everyone out.
Fat Cat is keeping them locked in the next room over. I can get them out, but I don't know how we'll get out of here unnoticed.
There's a secret entrance that we use to get in. You guys can use that to escape.
Thank you, Zozo, and be safe. Fat Cat will be in the main factory. I love you. Good luck.
On day 99, we left the incinerator room and made our way towards the main factory. On our way toward the factory doors, we heard a terrifying voice.
Well, 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 if it isn't little Zozo.
Fat Cat was looking down at us from the factory's second-story window. Fat Cat, the madness has to stop. We're shutting down this factory one way or another.
We'll see about that. Rat pack, attack!
Just then, the largest pack of rats I had ever seen came charging at us. This must have been every rat in the factory. Time to see how good my upgrades really were. Bring it on, you little creeps. Eve and I threw everything we had at the rats. With my new abilities, these rats didn't stand a chance. Eve shot them with her laser cannon, and I hit them back with my new gear. Before long, we had managed to take most of them out, which made the remaining rats all run away in fear. Yeah, you better run. Eve and I walked up to the factory door, but before going in, I turned to talk to Eve. Eve, I could really use your help in this fight, but we can't risk you getting hurt. We need you to stay safe so you can shut down the factory.
I understand. And Zozo, there's something else I want to say before you go in there.
Yeah, what is it?
I know you'll make it through this, and I just think everyone should subscribe so they can see what you'll do next.
Wow, that really means a lot to me, Eve. Thank you. I'll see you when it's all done. On day 100, I entered the factory and saw Fat Cat looking down at me from the second-story balcony.
It's over, Zozo. I have the high ground.
What?
This little revolution ends today. I don't care how many rats you kill or how many robots you free. I'll never shut this place down.
And just like that, he attacked. As we exchanged blows, it was clear to me that he was way stronger than I could have thought.
You could have had a great life working in my factory and making me rich, but it looks like it's over for you.
My hearts were getting really low. It didn't look like I was going to make it. But just then, a laser came out of nowhere and hit Fat Cat. Eve! Eve came in and started fighting with Fat Cat, which gave me a second to use my potions and heal up. Then I got back into the fight. You're in trouble now, Fat Cat. As I started to fight, I was able to distract Fat Cat and lead him away. While I did that, Eve snuck around to the main factory shutoff and input her code.
No, my factory!
Suddenly, Fat Cat stopped moving and a tiny cat popped out. He was a cat in a robot suit this whole time.
There he is, boys. Get him.
The pack of rats appeared and chased Fat Cat out of the factory. We did it, Eve! I'm sure the world will return back to normal in no time. Now let's go find my mom. We have a lot of catching up to do. I think Gary would have been proud. On day 1, I spawned in as a baby dragon. Whoa, I'm no ordinary dragon. I'm a warden dragon. I opened my mouth and shot out some dragon breath, then shot off a sonic boom. They were both pretty weak, but still cool. That's when I noticed a nearby ender dragon and warden. Hey, I have the same powers as you guys. You must be my parents. My mom and dad were excited to see me, and everything was happy. But suddenly, a big buff evil Steve came out of nowhere.
What's this? A warden and a dragon combined? I already hate dragons, but a dragon combined with a warden is even worse.
Run, Zozo. We'll hold him off.
I wanted to help, but she was right. I was too weak. As I watched the battle, I saw that Buff Steve was able to destroy my dad. No, how can he be so powerful? Buff Steve then captured my mom. I had to hurry away.
You get back over here, or your mom will never be free.
Don't worry about me. Run to a portal and destroy it behind you.
I listened to my mother like any good boy should, and ran away before Buff Steve could capture me. I ran into a nether portal to escape. On day 2, I came teleporting through a nether portal, landing in the overworld. I turned and shot off my sonic boom, destroying the portal behind me. I don't know how much time that buys me, but I have to get stronger to save my mom. If I was going to save my mom, I had to get the gear to do it. Using my claws, I began gathering up some nearby materials in order to build a base. I don't need anything fancy yet, I just need something that can keep me safe. Speaking of being safe, I was suddenly attacked by a bear. Get back! I have claws too! But trying to win this fight was foolish. I had no choice but to run. Oh boy, it looks like the overworld is just as dangerous as the nether. I kept running until I found myself on a nice, steep mountain. If I hollow this place out, this could make for a perfect base. Excited with the idea, I got right to it, building my base. I have so many ideas of how I can improve it, but we'll start simple for now. Soon, the start of the base was ready. I feel like it's going pretty good so far. Tomorrow will bring me one step closer to saving my mom. On day 3, I kept mining down into the mountain when I popped out on the other side. But as luck would have it, there was something unexpected. Is that an ender dragon nest? It looked like there was an egg inside of it too. Just then, a phantom appeared. He got closer to the egg. He was going to eat it. Oh no you don't, the dragons are my friends! The phantom clearly didn't expect anyone to be here, and I was able to hit him hard. In no time, I managed to take him out. Finally, it feels good not to run away for once. And what's this? The phantom had dropped some phantom skin, which I picked up. With it gone, I was able to get really close to the egg. That's when I saw there was a note nearby. My dear child, if you are reading this, then something has happened to me. I was setting out in search of food for us. It is very likely that a powerful being called Steve may come after us. He collects powerful creatures like us dragons. Take care and stay safe. Oh no, it's not just me. Dragons everywhere are in trouble. It's not enough to just save my mom from Buff Steve. I'm going to have to defeat him. I quickly picked up the egg to take it back to my base. I could keep it safe there. On days 4 to 5, I arrived back at my base. I got right to work building an incubator for the egg. If it was going to hatch safely, it needed a good environment to thrive in. Just as I finished up, I heard a noise outside. I ran out and saw even more phantoms. Oh man, you guys really want this egg! Well, just try and take it. The phantoms did their best to take me out, but they were no match for me. They would have to try harder than that if they wanted to win. With the 2 phantoms defeated, I picked up the phantom skin they had dropped. Oh, I know just what to make with this! I went over to my crafting table and used the phantom skin to make myself some phantom skin armor. It was about as strong as leather armor, but it would be better than nothing. On days 6 to 8, I was starting to get hungry and decided to go look for food. I was a little nervous about leaving the egg behind, but if I couldn't get food, then no one would be able to protect it. I soon came across a village. Hi there, please, do you have any food to spare? The villagers took one look at me and ran away. I guess they weren't used to meeting friendly dragons, or friendly wardens for that matter. Well, no one is around, so bon appetit. I got right to work attacking the animals around. Sure, it felt bad to hurt other animals, but hey, a dragon's gotta eat. And there's no way I was going to eat a salad.
At last, I found you!
I looked and saw Buff Steve standing there. This time he had on dragon armor. He was even stronger than before. You, what do you want?
Isn't it obvious? You!
He clearly wasn't in the mood to chat, and I had no choice but to fight. I started swinging, but it was clear he was too strong.
Looks like you're all mine.
I saw a window to escape, and I took it. I had to get out of there, and fast.
You might have slipped away this time, but mark my words, I'll find you.
He was probably right, but today was not that day. On days 9 to 10, I had made it back to my base. That's when I heard a noise coming from the incubator. Oh no, the egg is in trouble! I ran into the room to find the egg was still there, but it was hatching. Suddenly, a small baby ender dragon climbed out.
Are you my mom?
Who, me? No, I'm Zozo.
Oh, so where's my mom?
I'm not sure, but she left this note in your nest. It was there when I found you, and then I brought you here to keep you safe. The little dragon read the note. I guess being able to read was a gift us dragons get at birth.
I see. I wish I could have just stayed in my egg. It's sad out here.
Hey, it's okay. There's a lot of cool things to do in the world too.
Really? Like what?
I thought about it for a moment, then told her to follow me. I instructed her to mine out a big room in the mountain because we were going to build a cool statue. I wanted to be sure we built it out of sight though, so Buff Steve wouldn't be able to find our base. The little dragon seemed to really enjoy the creative process and was much happier as we finished the first part. This is a good start, but do you have any guesses as to what it's going to be? I then got to work building her a room to stay in. I knew how hard it was to get your mom taken away from you, so I wanted to be sure she was happy and comfortable. Soon, her room was completed too. On days 11 to 12, the little dragon came out of her room to chat.
Hey Zozo, what's my name?
Oh, I guess you were born yesterday and could probably use one of those. How about Sivith?
Sivith? Yeah, that sounds cool. Oh, and Zozo?
Yeah, Sivith?
I'm hungry.
Oh, right. Hang tight. I'll get both of us something to eat. I went out into the land to try and find some crows to eat. After a bit of searching, I spotted a few. As I got closer though, I spotted a human nearby. Oh no, it's Steve! I went to run away when they called out to me.
Wait, little dragon!
That's when I realized it wasn't Buff Steve. I waited until they got a little closer.
Hey, don't worry. I'm not here to hurt you like Steve. My name is Alex.
What do you want?
I want to help you. Steve and I used to be friends, but not anymore.
What happened?
Steve and I used to adventure together, along with our friend Brianna. One day we were exploring the Nether and came across the Nether Dragon. The dragon didn't mind us being there until Brianna decided to mess with the dragon's eggs. There's something magical about them, and Brianna got too close. The Nether Dragon destroyed her as the three of us tried to escape. I was sad, but Steve was angry. He vowed to take revenge on all dragons. He finds them and locks them away in his base as revenge. Through this, he has become stronger, but more evil, turning into what he is today. I feel like it's my responsibility to stop him.
Thank you for sharing that with me. He captured my mom and my friend's mom. If we team up, we can stop him.
Yes, I was thinking that as well. Although, I think it's important for me to keep searching for more dragons, so I can warn them about Steve. But here, take this horn. If you ever need to talk to me, you can use this.
I took the horn and thanked her for her help. Maybe we could defeat him after all. On days 13 to 15, I continued looking for food as I thought about everything Alex had told me. Oh no, it's that bear again! I have to fight him off, otherwise I might not be able to find more food for days. I was stronger now, so I charged in to fight. The bear was still really strong and really packed a punch. But everyone was counting on me. I couldn't lose. I kept swinging and finally took him out. What's this? I feel so much more powerful. Suddenly, I leveled up, growing in size and gaining more hearts. Whoa, I feel amazing! If I keep growing like this, maybe I can actually stop Buff Steve. I quickly gathered up the chickens and started leading them back to the base. On days 16 through 19, I arrived back at the base with the chickens. I got right to work building a coop for them to live in. Once the coop was complete, I went over to Sivith to tell her about the chickens, and also Alex.
This Alex sounds really nice, but I do have one question about everything you told me.
What's that?
Why are we eating eggs? Dragons come out of eggs too, so that seems kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know. It's different. Try not to think about it too much. I left Sivith to think about life and got to work building a mine. I might be able to grow in strength, but I can also build strength by making better armor and weapons. Speaking of which, I found some iron. Oh, perfect. I can finally get rid of my leather armor. This is great. Back in the base, I smelted down all of the iron, then used the iron to make myself a fresh set of armor and weapons. I'm feeling better already. On days 20 to 22, I woke up with a bad feeling in my stomach. I went to Sivith's room and saw she was missing. Sivith? Sivith, where are you? Just then, I heard another sound. It was the horn Alex had given me. She was calling me. I ran out of the base toward the sound. Maybe Alex knew what had happened to her. Soon, I saw Alex. What's going on?
Zozo, I called for you as soon as I could. I caught sight of Steve. He was chasing a baby dragon. That's not your friend, right?
I don't know. It might be. She wasn't in her room this morning.
Oh no. I'm not strong enough to face Steve yet, but I'll tell you where you need to go.
Alex explained where she saw them, and I hurried off. I soon got to the place Alex described and saw Steve was about to capture Sivith. I had to do something. Hold it right there, Steve. I jumped between the two of them.
Out of my way. I hate dragons, and this one is no different. Wait, you're that warden dragon I saw earlier. You're the worst kind of dragon of all.
Quick, Sivith, run! Steve wasn't paying attention, and Sivith was able to get away. Steve was then so distracted by her escaping that I was able to escape too.
Hang on, you're not getting away this time.
Steve chased after us, and I tried to knock him back while Sivith got away. He was still too strong, but I was able to get enough hits in to stop him from capturing us. Sivith managed to get away. Soon after, I was able to lose Steve in the trees. Sivith and I met back up, then hurried back to the base. On days 23 to 26, Sivith and I arrived back at the base. I was really worried about what had happened.
I'm so sorry, Zozo. Are you mad at me?
That depends. What happened? Did Steve find our base?
No, I left to go and find more supplies to upgrade our stuff when Steve came out of nowhere and tried to grab me. So you don't need to be mad because he didn't find our base.
I would have been worried if he found our base, but I'm mad that you left. You could have been captured and I would have never seen you again. I could tell Sivith felt really bad. Look, it's okay. I'm sorry for being mad. I know you were just trying to help, but right now it's too risky. Promise me you'll stay at the base from now on?
Okay, I promise. But Zozo?
Yeah?
Before Steve popped out, I did see something interesting. I think you should go check it out.
Sivith explained where I needed to go, and she was right. It did sound like a good place to go. Nice one, Sivith. I'll go take a look. After a bit, I arrived at the place she described. It was a large temple. I stepped inside and was immediately attacked by a bunch of husks. Oh, go drink some water, you dust heads. The husks did their best to bring me down, but I took them out first. After the last one had disappeared, I saw something interesting. Oh, and what might this be? I took a look and saw that there was a bone sword. Wow, this is cool. That's when I realized that the sword also gave me a special ability. Now I could spit spikes. Now that is awesome and mildly confusing. I tested it out, sending spikes shooting at the wall. As I hit the wall, murals started to appear. Just then, a mummy came out and attacked me. Oh, someone is jealous of my spit takes. I kept launching spit spikes at him, slowly wearing him down. He was not a fan, but it didn't matter because I had to survive this. Soon enough, he was gone. So what's up with these murals? I took a closer look and realized they told the story of an epic adventure. One you can watch if you search for my channel, Zozo, Z-O-Z-O. This is when I survived 100 days as Moses. You'll really like that one if you're liking this one so far. On days 27 to 31, I had left the temple and arrived back at the base. As I entered my base, I could barely recognize Sivith. She was now the same size as me. Wow, Sivith, you're even stronger now, and I know just the way to celebrate. Sivith and I headed out to do some more work on the statue. Sivith felt like a little sister to me, and I was happy to have someone on my side. Together we could do anything. We were finishing up the next part of the statue when Sivith had a thought of her own to share.
This is looking good, but something isn't quite right. Feels like it could use a different material.
I think you're right, and I know just what to get. I took off to grab the material I had in mind. I am a little bigger now. I wonder if I can fly. I gave it a shot and found that while I couldn't fly, I could glide. Well, that's better than nothing. I soon arrived at the bottom of the hole, but was soon attacked by straddlers. Out of my way, I've got a statue to save. The straddlers did their best to knock me down, but they were no match for me. With them out of the way, I quickly found what I was looking for. This amethyst is just what we need. I can't wait to see if it looks good on the statue. I mined up as much amethyst as I thought we'd need, then got ready to head back to the base. The statue is going to look amazing now. On days 32 to 35, I was on my way back to the base when I was attacked out of nowhere by piglins. What are you nosy oinkers doing out here? I fought them off using everything I had until the last of them were defeated. That's when I heard something nearby. Hey, were you hiding from the piglins? It's okay now.
The dragon is talking to me.
The villager was so scared and tried to get away from me. But just then, another piglin popped out and started chasing after him. Hey, watch out! I rushed over and took on the piglin. In no time, I was able to defeat him.
You saved me? Wow, thanks.
No problem. Where did all of these piglins come from anyway?
I'm not sure, but my village is full of them. We could really use someone like you to come and clear them out for us. Would you be willing to help?
Say no more. I'm on the case. On days 36 to 39, I followed the villager back to his village. As we got closer, I could see he was right. The village was full of piglins. Let's try to get a better view of what's going on. We snuck around the outside of the town to get a better viewpoint of what was happening.
You see that structure in the middle of the town? That's where everyone is probably hiding out.
Got it. Hang back. I'm going to rush in there and get everyone out.
Whoa, hang on. I know you took those guys out back there, but those were just low-level scouts. You can't hope to take on all of those guys down there at once.
Okay, so what do you suggest?
It will be nighttime soon enough. I think we might be able to sneak in and get everyone out safely.
I'm good with that plan. We'll give it a shot. On days 40 to 43, the villager and I waited for nightfall. Soon, we saw that the piglins had begun falling asleep. It was time to make our move. Let's do this. We snuck into the village, doing our best to keep quiet. Even the smallest of noises could wake up the piglins. Which just then, there was a clang. My new villager friend accidentally bumped into something.
Sorry.
It was too late though. The piglins were awake and not happy to see us. Looks like it's plan A after all. My new friend was right. These piglins were much stronger than the scouts I had fought outside the village. What he wasn't right about though was my ability to take them on. I was tough, and the piglins fell one by one as I took them out. Soon enough, they were all defeated.
Zozo, you did it!
We then went over to the scared villagers who weren't exactly happy to see me.
Don't worry, everyone. He's a friend. I know dragons can be scary, but Zozo here was the one who rescued all of us. We owe him our lives.
The villagers were happy to find out I wasn't there to eat them, and it felt good for people to see me as the hero.
Thanks again, Zozo. And in the future, if there's anything we can do for you, just let us know.
Will do. Now I've got a statue to go work on. On days 44 to 49, I returned to my base and got to work adding the amethyst to the statue. Sivith was right. This was just what it needed. All right, now we're making some good progress, but still have a ways to go. What do you think so far? All of the building and rescuing from the previous days had made me realize how badly I needed to be protecting myself from attack, so I made sure to do some work on the base. We were going to need strong defenses and traps if Steve ever found us. It had been a while since I had run into him, but I was sure something was going to happen with him soon. On days 50 to 53, I received a message from Alex. Steve and his goons were on the way to my base. How did they find us?
All I know is that he was told something by a villager.
A villager? After everything I did for that guy, he still didn't trust me.
Oh, no, not the guy that was working with you. Just someone from his village.
Still, it's a shame they would sell us out like that. Well, thanks for the warning. I'll go tell Sivith. I ran over to Sivith. Get ready, Sivith. They're coming for us, and we're going to be in for the fight of our lives. Meanwhile, outside the castle, Steve soon arrived with a gang of other players.
Oh, Zozo, the jig is up. We're here for you and that little friend of yours.
I don't care what you want. We didn't do anything to you. Let us live our lives in peace.
Peace is not an option. Attack!
Steve motioned for 2 of his soldiers to charge. As they got closer to the door, our trap started firing arrows, which quickly took them out. You're smarter than you look, but there's plenty more where that came from. Next up came an archer, who did their best to try and disable our traps, shooting flaming arrows into them. Unfortunately, that seemed to do the trick, and the trap stopped working. 2 griefers came up to the door, laid some TNT, and lit it. But suddenly, the traps came back to life, taking out the archer and trapping the griefers in. There was an explosion, which took them out, but also took out the traps and door. The base was open now, though, and the players started to run in, but not before falling into my pitfall trap. Another noob tried running in too, but fell right into the hole. Just then, someone vented in through the side and took a look in the hole. Unfortunately for them, their Spec Ops teammate popped in and knocked them down the hole. These guys really need to learn to work together. He filled in the hole, and the rest of the team charged in. Bring it on! The players charged at me, while I did my best to fight them off. Leave us alone! We didn't do anything to you! Most of the players were pretty weak, but I could hear someone setting off explosions in the background. I had to hurry. I had defeated most of the players when one stronger one with a flaming sword stepped up to fight. Look man, you don't want to mess with me. The player simply attacked. His flaming sword was really strong and kept setting me on fire. Yeah, okay, I see why people don't like Dragon's fire breath. Ouch! He was tough, but my attacks were getting the job done. I could tell he was getting weak, and I got him lined up with the edge. Have a good flight! I hit him hard, sending him flying over the edge. Just then, I felt the energy surge through me, and I grew into an even bigger dragon with more hearts. Yes, I feel amazing! Just then, I heard Sivith let out a cry. She was in trouble. I looked and saw she had been captured by Steve. Ha ha ha! Say goodbye to your little friend. Steve ran out of the base with Sivith in chains. I've got to stop him! I ran out of the base, but 2 more of Steve's players were waiting for me. They weren't very strong, but they gave Steve enough time to get away. I knocked them out, but it was too late. Hang on, Sivith. I'll find you! On days 54 to 57, I got out the horn and gave Alex a call. She arrived soon after.
Zozo, you look so sad. What's wrong?
They got Sivith. I've never felt so hopeless. Do you know where they might be taking her?
I'm sorry, Zozo. I really wish I could help, but I have no idea where they could be going.
I could tell Alex felt really bad, and she offered me some raw beef to cheer me up.
Look, we'll find her. In the meantime, let's get this place fixed up. You won't be of any use to Sivith if they come back and capture you too.
I agreed, and Alex and I got to work repairing the base. We had soon finished up the repairs, but I was still feeling a little bit down. One thing that I thought might help, though, was working on the statue. Alex offered to help on that as well, which made me grateful to have a friend in her. I was so worried about myself and my problems, I hadn't really thought much about what Alex was going through. Thanks for all of your help, Alex. I know you're going through a lot too, so it means a lot you are willing to help me.
Anytime, Zozo. Now take care. I've got some things to take care of.
I said goodbye and got ready for bed. Tomorrow I would figure out what I needed to do to save Sivith. On days 58 to 62, I headed into the mines. I didn't know where I needed to go to find Sivith, but I knew I needed to be stronger before I could do anything anyway. As I explored the mines, I was suddenly attacked by silverfish. These guys have always grossed me out. They were quick little buggers and hard to hit. Lucky for me though, I was able to take them out without taking too much damage. I continued into the mines and soon found some diamonds. Excellent, this is just what I need. I swung my pickaxe and gathered up lots of diamonds. I was going to have much better gear now. With all of my diamonds collected, I made my way back out of the mines. Back in my base, I got right to work crafting all of the diamond gear that I could. Steve wasn't going to know what hit him. On day 63 to 66, I woke up with a brilliant idea. I might not know where Steve is, but I know someone who might. And something tells me they are not going to be happy to see me. I took off towards the village I had saved days earlier. It was time to have a chat with the villager who ratted me out. As I arrived in the village, I saw my friend from earlier. I explained the situation to him, as well as who I was looking for.
I'm sorry to hear it, but I can't say I'm surprised. Billiam has always been the village rat. I know just where you can find him.
We headed off and found Billiam.
Whoa, you're, bigger than the last time we saw you.
I am. I'm I'm quite a bit stronger too. I can break little villagers like you with no problem.
Oh wow, yeah, well, you're not gonna do that, are you?
That's up to you. My home was attacked by Steve and his goons. My friend was taken prisoner. I can't forgive this, but I might be able to look past it if you tell me where I can find her.
I'm sorry, but I don't know where they might have taken her.
Uh-oh, that's the wrong answer. I took a deep breath and got ready to blast him.
Wait, I'm telling the truth. I don't know where they would have taken her, but I can tell you where to find Steve's messenger that I talked to.
I thought about it and decided that was probably the best thing I was going to get from this guy. All right then, looks like today's your lucky day. William spilled everything he knew about where I could find this messenger. After he had told me everything, I headed out. Something tells me Billiam is not going to be very welcome in his village anymore. Sounds like that's in the best interest of everybody. On day 67 to 70, I arrived at the fortress that Billiam had told me about. I charged up to the base and immediately started attacking the guards. Where is your leader? Where is Sivith? The guards weren't interested in my questions and simply did their best to fight me off. But my friend was in danger and nothing was going to stop me. Out of my way, tin heads! As I fought my way through, I soon came across an even bigger guard. This guy was tougher than the first ones, but I wasn't going to let that stop me. He swung at me and did some serious damage. It really hurt, but I swung back and was able to take him out. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. I had made it into the castle, and more of the big guys were trying to take me down. They swung, I dodged, and knocked their blocks off. Hang on, Sivith, I'm coming! On days 71 to 74, I had officially made it into the fortress. It was as if the whole base had been alerted to my presence, as every bad guy in the place was swarming in on me. I don't care how many of you there are, I'm going to make it to the top. As I knocked guard after guard out of my way, I eventually found myself inside a library. Wait a second, what's this? I had found some kind of special item. With this, I have the strongest spike attack I can get. Excited with my new ability, I immediately put it to the test. There were some guards up on the balconies, and I managed to take them out. Oh yeah, whoever this guy is, he's in for a real surprise. On days 75 to 78, I made it to what looked like the lair of the castle's boss. You there, you must know where Steve is keeping his prisoners. Tell me, or else.
Heh, you really think I'm gonna help a dragon? Look at me. Steve has been stealing the power of the dragons to make us stronger, and there's no way you'll be able to defeat me.
What? What does he hope to gain from all of this?
Not only will he finally destroy all dragons, but he will become a powerful dragon himself. Then no one can stop us.
Yeah? Well, this dragon isn't going to let that happen. Bring it on! The henchman and I started to fight. I did my best to fight him off, but since he had been given dragon powers, he was incredibly strong. This wasn't going to be a simple fight. Do you really think Steve will let you live your life once he's king? He's going to turn on anyone who has even a little bit of power.
Silence! You don't know what you're talking about. But it doesn't matter, because you're going to lose.
It looked like there was no talking sense into this guy. The fight was getting intense, but it was time to end it. I focused all of my energy, used all of my attacks, and at long last, I won! The henchman was nearly defeated.
No! How could I lose to a measly dragon?
Last chance, tell me where Steve's base is.
Never!
The henchman leapt forward to attack me, but I took him out instead. Well, maybe there's something around here that can help me out. On day 79 to 84, I started taking a look around the castle. Wait, what's this? Inside of a chest was a bunch of golden apples. Suddenly, there was a sound outside. As I ran out to look, I could see Steve in the distance, and he was looking right at me.
Ah, Zozo, just the one I was looking for.
What do you want, Steve? Where's Sivith?
Who? Who cares? All you need to know is I finally finished my potion. The power of the dragons is finally mine. I received word you were here, so I thought I'd let you be the first one to see.
Steve drank down a potion and suddenly started to change. He turned into a disfigured but powerful dragon. Steve, what have you done?
Ha ha ha. Here, let me show you up close.
Steve took off into the air and flew toward me. I was strong, but not strong enough for this. I couldn't even fly yet. I had no choice but to run.
Come on, Zozo, what's the problem? Afraid of a little fire?
I kept running toward my base as Steve continued to chase me. I had to get to cover. We ran across the land and I finally snuck into my base. Steve flew around for a bit, but realized he couldn't fit inside. After a while, he left. I fear for the worst with Sivith. Is she still alive? On days 85 to 89, I got out of bed after a sleepless night. I had no idea if Steve would be waiting for me outside, and I couldn't risk going out there. I went back over to my statue. I had planned on completing it with Sivith, but I was worried I might not have that chance. I worked on completing the final part. Well, it's all done. It reminds me of Sivith, and she would have been proud of what we did here. I only hope I can avenge her and save everyone else from Steve's insanity. I was feeling more confident than before and stepped over to the ledge. Maybe I was strong enough to fly. I leapt over the edge and sure enough, I was able to get my wings going and fly. Yes, finally! I took some time to get used to flying. Luckily, it looked like Steve had left the area. I was able to get some good practice in when I heard Alex sounding off on her horn. I flew toward the sound and saw Alex was waiting for me.
Zozo, you did it! You're flying! This is great news!
Thanks! I just wish I knew where Steve's base was. One way or another, I've got to end this.
Well, I've got some good news for you. I found it!
I couldn't believe it. Maybe now we could finally get revenge for all the wrongs Steve had done. Even though I was feeling stronger though, I was still worried about how we could defeat Steve.
Steve is afraid of anything that might harm him, so he likes to keep that close to him. When we get to his base, we should take a look around. There might be something there that can help.
On days 90 to 94, I flew to Steve's base. As I landed outside the base, I met up with Alex. Wait a second, how did you beat me here? I was flying.
Oh, I have another highway set up, so I can get around pretty quick.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. So have you seen Steve?
Not yet. I think you should be good to head inside. I'll wait out here and let you know if Steve shows up.
Sounds like a plan. Stay safe. I took off and flew over the wall, landing in the courtyard. The place was full of half-dragon guards. Oh man, what happened to you guys? As I fought off the guards, I realized that these must have been Steve's failed dragon transformation experiments. That guy was twisted. Even though they were failed experiments, they were still really strong. I was able to hold them off, but I lost some pieces of my armor in the process. Whew, okay, that was tough. Let's move in deeper and see what we can find. On days 95 to 97, I moved even deeper into the base. Jeez, this place is huge! I soon found myself in what looked to be a forge room. I decided to take a look around and see if I could find anything that could help me in my fight. There was a cool dragon statue nearby. Then I noticed a chest was near it. I wonder what could be in here. I opened the chest and saw it was full of netherite gear. This just might give me the boost I need to win the fight. I kept on exploring when suddenly I was attacked by more of Steve's minions. How many of you guys are there? I smacked as many of them out of the way as I could. If there were guys down here, I must be getting close. I was finally going to be able to get my revenge. After I defeated the last of the minions, I came face to face with another one of Steve's stronger dragon guards. The last fight against one of you was hard. Let's hope this time can be better. We both sprang into action, hitting each other and firing off different attacks. He was still really strong, but my new equipment was doing its job. I managed to get him lined up with a cliff. Hang on to your horns! I gave him a good whack and sent him flying over the edge to his doom. Bet you wish you had the power to fly. On day 98, I moved even deeper into the base. It was starting to get really cold and wet. How deep underground had I gone? More guards? No problem. At this point, I was getting pretty good at fighting these guards. That's when I realized there was a dragon in a cage nearby. It was Sivith. I defeated the last of the guards, then hurried over to the cages. Hang on, I'll get you out. I used my sonic attack and opened up the cage, freeing my small friend. I was excited to see she was still alive, but had a question to ask her. I was scared to ask, but I had to know the answer. Sivith, I'm so happy you're alive. Have you by any chance seen my mother down here? A sad expression came over Sivith's face.
I have, but unfortunately she's gone. We were only both here for a short while, but I believe she saved my life.
What do you mean?
When Steve came to extract her powers from her, she gave him even more power than she needed to.
More power? Why would she do that? That just let him turn into a dragon sooner.
It's true, but you have to understand that she was out of time, and Steve would have used my power next. He was going to figure the transformation out, but your mom sacrificed herself to be sure Steve wouldn't need to hurt me too.
Wow, I understand. She was always looking out for others.
She also told me that she believed in you, and she knew even if Steve was able to harness dragon powers, you would be able to defeat him. She told me to give this to you when you arrived.
Sivith tossed something out on the ground. Warden's heart. This was a gift to my mom from my dad. I had always heard that there was a special power inside of it that combined the power of the dragon and the warden. But before I could investigate any further, I heard a noise from Alex's horn. Steve must be here. Come on, Sivith, let's get out of here. On day 99, Sivith and I arrived back outside of the base. Alex was waiting, and we hurried over to her.
Watch out! Steve is...
Just then, Steve came smashing down into the courtyard in his dragon form.
Sorry to break up the party, but you three have been getting on my nerves.
It's over, Steve. You might look like a dragon, but you will never truly be one. It's time for you to pay for your crimes.
Is that so? Well, come and get me, Warden.
Warden? Zozo, use the warden's heart.
I quickly grabbed the warden's heart and activated it. I felt an amazing amount of energy flow through me, and I leveled up into my strongest, most powerful form. I can feel the full power of the Ender Dragon and the warden within me. You're going down, Steve. Steve let out a growl as we started to fight. We flew around, launching our dragon's breath at each other. The sound of our battle could be heard for miles. Give it up, Steve. I have the power of the two most powerful beings in the land. You can't hope to defeat me.
You're just a freaky mix of two creatures.
Hey man, look who's talking! I finally landed a powerful blow, which brought Steve down to his final heart. I soared high and dive-bombed him, delivering the final blow.
Oh, no!
Steve started to explode as his head spun violently. His entire being was glitching out of existence. And stay out of our land! On day 100, Sivith, Alex, and I all made it back to our base. We had lost our families and close friends, but together we would be our own new family. And if anyone else was in trouble, we'd be here to help them out.
On day 1, I spawned in as King Kong. Check me out, I'm the king of the world. But wait, why do I only have a few hearts? I'm a massive ape for crying out loud. That's when I realized I was on a playground. Looks like I'm not the king quite yet. From out of nowhere came a man wearing a black suit and tie. Oh, he must be super nice. We can always trust strangers in nice suits, right?
Don't run, alien. You're coming with me. You're in trouble.
Alien? Why is he calling me that? Just then, the man in black started to try and capture me. I'll never go with you. Kidnapping is wrong. I couldn't believe this guy. I had no choice but to run.
Stop making a fuss and get into my unmarked vehicle. I have candy.
The man in black was chasing after me and kept calling me an alien. What's this guy's deal? I ran into the forest and climbed up a big tree. Nice try, kidnapper. After resting for a bit in the tree, I jumped down to see if the man in black was gone. The coast was clear. Phew, I hope I never see that guy again. Just then, I heard some rustling. Was he back? Nope, it was a badger. Oh boy, I'm glad it's just you. There was a really weird dude chasing me earlier. The badger didn't want to chat. He was mad that I was on his turf and tried to attack me. Back off, Badgie. I punched him and knocked him away. Huh, I'm not so weak after all. Nice try, punk. That badger had definitely learned his lesson. Or so I thought, because it wasn't long before I was surrounded by an entire badger gang. I'm having a really rough day. They had me surrounded. Suddenly, I felt something in my chest, and I let out a giant roar. The badgers jumped and ran off. I have no idea where that came from, but it worked. I'll have to remember that for the future. It was getting dark, so I climbed back up into a tree for the night to sleep in the branches. Wow, from up here, it's almost like I could touch the moon. It's huge. As I fell asleep, I couldn't help but wonder if I'd ever find a family out there, so I wouldn't be so alone. On day 2, I decided it was time to make my way in this world. I started to wander around and it led me to a jungle. Oh, this certainly feels like the place to make a home. I started to cut down wood and gather stone. I made my crafting table and got to work creating tools and a couple of weapons. Easy squeezy, weapon pleasey. I knew I was going to need a base very soon, so I started collecting resources for that too. But this was the jungle, and it wasn't long before I was disturbed by a very grumpy venomous snake. I know how to handle this. I took a deep breath and roared, and nothing happened. Uh-oh, maybe snakes don't have very good hearing. Oh well, I'll just have to take care of him the old-fashioned way. It was a good thing I had just made a sword, which I used to quickly take him out. Now that the snake was gone, it made me want to build a really well-hidden base. I didn't want the man in black to find me, or anything else for that matter. As I went deeper into the jungle, I soon saw a giant boulder. That rock would be a good foundation for my base. I got right to work constructing the beginnings of my jungle home. It was coming along nicely, but I soon got tired and needed to rest for the night. It was cozy in my small but sturdy base. I fell asleep thinking of plans to eventually construct my home into a jungle temple. On day 3, I woke up bright and early to explore the jungle. Suddenly, I heard a squeak and saw a cute little green creature running away from a big crocodile. I followed them and saw the poor little green creature was cornered by the croc. Hey, stop right there, croc. How about you take a bite out of this? I started hitting him with my sword. He snapped at me, but I was able to dodge his blows. We brawled for a bit, but eventually I was able to knock him out. I looked around for the little green guy and saw he was running away. Hey, I'm not mean, I promise. He didn't stop running, so I followed him. Don't be scared. Look, I've got a banana. Want one? The little green creature turned and stopped running. You're probably hungry. Here you go. He really liked it, and I think it helped him trust me.
Like banana, I do.
Oh, he can talk. I asked him his name and where his home was.
Luno, my name is. Lunarian, I am. On the moon, I live, but from the moon, I fell. Lost, I am. A lot of mean creatures here there are, but you, nice you are. Alone, I am.
I'm alone too. That's pretty cool you're from the moon though. I have no idea how to get you home, but I'm happy to try. The alien was relieved to hear I would try and help him. I invited him to stay at the base until we figured something out. He agreed and we went back together. On days 4 to 5, I made it back to the base. We added another room so that Luno had a space of his own. I'm going to need more materials to build some more of this temple. You stay here, Luno. I'll be back. I walked around the jungle and began mining and collecting all sorts of things from the temple. What was that? I thought I heard something. Guess not. I got back to collecting things. I heard some more rustling behind me and some malicious giggling. I turned and saw the group of badgers that had ganged up on me earlier. Oh, brother, not you guys again. When are you going to just leave me alone already? I took in a big breath and gave my best banshee roar. Some of the badgers ran off, but some of them just stayed there. That's strange. Well, now I wasn't defenseless like last time. I brandished my sword. I got this in the badger. I started swinging and hitting the badgers that had stuck around. I'll bet they wish they had run away. After I had gotten rid of all of the badgers, I noticed one of them had dropped something. It was an item that protected against sound attacks. Pretty clever badgers. Gotta hand it to them. I finished gathering materials and headed back to the base. I told Luna what had happened with the badger.
Strong fighter you are.
Ah, shucks, Luno. It was getting late and had been a long day, so we settled in for the night. Luno looked up at the moon before he fell asleep. He missed his home. It was close, yet so far. On days 6 to 8, I woke up ready to face the day. I wanted to find upgrades for the base, and Luno wanted to explore a little bit too. I told him to be careful and call out to me if anything happened. While I explored below some azalea trees, I noticed an entrance to a cave. I know what this means. Iron time. I hopped down into the cave. It was so lush down here. I got out my sword and quickly took care of the slimy pests. I found some really neat, dark-colored cobblestone, plus plenty of iron. This cave rocked, pun intended. I couldn't wait to check out more, but it was then that I heard something from outside the cave. I better take a look. I carefully peeked out of the cave and saw the men in black running past. He was back. That was close. He could have seen me. What is he up to now? That was Luno's scream. I rushed out of the cave to find Luno. I no longer cared about my safety. I couldn't let the man in black kidnap him. This is terrible. I should have never let Luno go off alone. I wasn't going down without a fight. Feel my wrath, kidnapper. I went to knock his blocks off, but before I could get over there, he suddenly evaporated into particles. What kind of kidnapper magic was this? I was left alone with only my regrets to keep me company. What was I to do? On days 9 to 10, I was so discouraged. The man in black was too cunning. There was no chance I'd be able to save Luno. I didn't even know where he was taken. Maybe a walk will clear my head. I wandered around the jungle and through the forest. Eventually, I ended up in a familiar spot. It was the playground I started off at. I climbed back onto the small skyscraper. There was something comforting about being on top of it. I'm supposed to be King Kong, king of the jungle, but I couldn't even save my friend. Sitting on the skyscraper gave me an idea though. I know, I can build a statue to help take my mind off of things. So I went back towards my base. I stopped at an area that was nearby, but not so close that it would give my base away. I started clearing the area for my big project. Once I was done clearing the area, I started the foundation of the skyscraper. Not too shabby. It was a great start, but that would be enough for now. It was about to get dark and mobs would be spawning. I headed back to the base and crafted some gear with iron to pass the time. I hoped Luna was okay. After a while, I decided to call it a night and got some sleep. On days 11 to 12, I got up bright and early. I was looking forward to building my statue, but I was going to need a ton of materials to build my skyscraper. I headed out of the jungle and into a bamboo forest. As I was exploring, I noticed a large building hiding among the plants. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. There was an old spooky looking mansion. I was so intrigued by it. I went inside and had a look around. I wonder who used to own this place. Maybe it was an explorer. I was taking a closer look at things when I was startled by the sound of someone clearing their throat. I turned and there was an old man looking at me.
Hello there. May I help you, old chap?
Sorry, I didn't think anyone lived here anymore.
Indeed I do. This old house isn't what she used to be, but I'm too old these days to keep up with the yard.
Oh, well, I like the way it looks. It's very earthy, and you have some really cool artifacts here. What a collection.
Thank you, dear boy, but these relics are all fake. You see, I'm an explorer, or I was when I was a bit more spry. When I would find something fascinating, whether it was an animal, artifact, or relic, I didn't want to take it. No, I wanted others to enjoy finding it too, so I would come home and recreate it. That way, the original would be right where it should be.
It's very honorable of you. I have mad respect for your respect.
Cheers. You know, you remind me of someone I met before. This might fascinate you if you'd like to see it.
He led me into his backyard, and there in the middle was a model of a giant King Kong looking gorilla.
I found this gigantic creature on an island where it was worshipped as a god. I was so amazed, I went home and built this replica here. It's my most treasured discovery, and I've always hoped I'd meet another, as I've heard this creature is no longer living.
I could tell he was thinking thinking I was just like this great specimen. This is inspiring to see, but I'm much too small. I'll never reach that size.
This ape started out as a small bugger, just like you. Day by day, he grew stronger and bigger until he was a towering, fearsome giant. Maybe you too will steadily grow so big.
I wasn't so sure about that. I mean, I hope so, but I failed to save my friend. It was hard to believe I was destined for greatness. I said cheerio to the old explorer. I was glad I had met him. Then I continued collecting materials while also heading back towards home. While I was mining, I couldn't help but daydream about one day being a real king of the jungle. On days 13 to 15, I was making my way back to my base when I got the feeling I was being followed. I picked up my pace, hoping that would help, but I still couldn't shake that feeling. When I looked behind me, I finally caught a glimpse of something. Nope, I wasn't going to wait around to find out what it was. I booked it. I ran as fast as I could, but I was right. Something was following me, and that something was just as fast as I was. It was a tiger. It looks like I have no choice. I flipped around and faced him. No more running. I would just have to give it my all. Chew on this, tiger. I used my strength, my roar, and my sword. I gave it my all. He hit me a few times. There was no denying that this kitty was tough. This battle is intense. Even though it was a hard battle, I actually was holding my own. Whoa! All of a sudden, we both went tumbling off a cliff. But did that stop us? No! We landed in the water and kept at it. There was a fire that got ignited in me. Something instinctual, something primal. I let out a huge roar. We kept brawling, but in the end, I got the last blow and he was done. I came out victorious. Yes! I was so proud of myself. I could really step up to the plate when the odds are stacked against me and come out on top. I felt strength welling up inside of me, and I instantly evolved into a bigger version of King Kong. Okay, I wasn't quite the size of a jungle king, but I'd say I was at least a prince. Just call me Prince Kong, Prince Pong, Pong. Yeah, maybe I'll just stick to being called Zozo for now. On day 16 to 19, I was feeling so confident that I had some pep in my step. Maybe things weren't so hopeless with helping Luno. I had figured out how to defeat the tiger. Maybe, just maybe, I could figure out how to rescue Luno. I decided to return to the place of the kidnapping to see if I could find any clues. Bingo! And Sloppy was his name-o. There it was, a map on the ground. Looked like he dropped it in the chase. His mistake was my advantage. I looked it over and saw that it had a building on it labeled Men in Black's Secret Lab. These dudes really need to do some training on how to not compromise classified information. What a bunch of rookies. The map changed everything. This meant I had a shot at finding Luno, and this time I was going to save him. But first, I better get ready for battle. I wanted to upgrade my gear, so I went back to the lush cave and mined a bunch more iron. Some spiders crawled up and tried to bother me, but I showed them who was boss real quick. Mind your business, spiders. Get it? The spiders weren't amused. Oh well, you go squish now. I was on a mission. I would not be deterred. Once I gathered enough, I went back to my base and got to work, crafting a full set of heavy-duty iron armor and iron weapons. Now, I was ready, I hoped. On day 20 to 22, I set off, following the map to the secret lab that was no longer a secret. Seriously, can you believe they just dropped that really important map? I approached the area where the place was supposed to be, but I didn't see anything anywhere at first. But then I spotted it. It was a very well-hidden bunker lab. Without the map, I'd have never noticed it. I guess I can give them a little credit for camouflaging. Just then, some guards came out of the bunker. I quickly ducked out of sight.
Yeah, that little green alien is really adorable.
It's too bad he won't be around after today.
I was just getting used to having the little guy around. I think I'm gonna cry.
Pull yourself together, Fred.
Hey, I have feelings too.
I'm sorry, Fred. I know what this is really about. It's about the last bagel that Jerry took.
He already had one, Megan. Who does that? A monster, that's who.
Let it out, buddy. Have a good cry.
Talk about drama. I had to get in the door. Just then, 2 more guards came out to talk to the other ones. The door was ajar. This was my chance to sneak past the guards while they sorted out their feelings or whatever that was about. Okay, I'm in. That wasn't so hard. Just gotta find out where they're holding Luno, kick booty, and get out. No biggie. I turned a corner and found myself in a cafeteria full of guards. Uh-oh, wrong turn. Everyone turned and looked at me. So how about them burgers, huh? Talk about beefy. Well, I'll see myself out.
Intruder, get that gorilla!
That was my cue to run. I ran deeper into the base. They were so shocked to see a big gorilla, they weren't ready to fight. I took them out with just a few big punches. Ooh, one of them dropped a key. I know what to do with that. I put the key in the lock of the door they were guarding. Open sesame. Luno was inside the room.
Zozo.
He was so excited to see me. He was surprised how much I had grown. I told him I was sorry for taking so long to rescue him. He was just happy to see me and told me I was very brave. What a guy. No time to lose, Luno. We gotta break you out of here. The battle is only half won. We tried to hurry and make our way out without running into anyone else, but of course that was too good to be true. The man in black cut us off and blocked us from getting any further.
I'm not the bad guy here. This is what needs to happen. Surrender, or I will have to use this.
He flashed a fancy-looking gun. The gun didn't shoot bullets. Instead, it produced a terrible, debilitating sound. I quickly equipped my noise-canceling ear protection that I picked up from the badgers. But poor Luno was spinning with confusion. No one was going to hurt my friend on my watch, I charged the man in black. I gave him a super punch and knocked him to the ground. He didn't get back up. He was out cold. Total knockout. You didn't stand a chance against these guns. Luna was still a bit disoriented, but he was okay. We rushed out of the lab and into the wilderness. The man in black never knew what hit him. On day 23 to 26, we returned to the jungle temple. I kept apologizing that I hadn't been able to stop the men in black from taking him, but he told me he didn't care, that it wasn't my fault.
Blame yourself for other actions. Do not.
I guess he had a good point. I tried my best, and sometimes bad things just happen. So, are you okay after being captured?
Heavy is my heart. Homesick.
I wish I could help. If only I could reach the moon. Wait a minute, I'm building a skyscraper sculpture. What if I build it so tall that it can reach the moon?
Great idea that is. Great friend Zozo is.
We ran over to the sculpture and continued building together. Phew, this was a huge undertaking. We definitely were going to need way more materials than we had in our stash. We would go find more supplies tomorrow. That night, as we both sat and looked up at the stars, we saw an interesting constellation. Does that make you think of anything? On days 27 to 31, I spotted a wandering trader walking by with his llama. I ran out and flagged him down. Good morning, can I see what you're selling? I'm in need of a lot of andesite.
Is that so? I don't have a lot on me right now, but I'm on my way to a quarry that has tons of stuff. I often go there to ply my wares.
A huge source of materials that I can use for the skyscraper? What good luck. Thanks for that info. I'll certainly be taking a visit there.
I got other stuff though, if you want to make a trade.
I don't have any money.
That's okay. You can buy on credit and I will come collect later. It's the newest craze. Buy now, figure it out later.
That sounded good to me. I looked at his wares and saw an enchanted iron chest plate and a better helmet. I selected these items and then bid goodbye to the trader. I'd have to remember to come up with some money later. I went over to where Luna was and let him know I needed to make a journey to the quarry. I told him to wait at the base and make himself at home. I'd be back as soon as I could. Eat all the frogs and bananas you want while I'm gone. I headed out and eventually found myself wandering through the savannah. At one point, I started hearing some weird laughing around me. Back up, buddies. Trust me, you don't want a piece of me. But they clearly did want a piece of me. They didn't waste time in jumping all over me. There were so many of them, and they were fighting like there was no tomorrow. I was able to take quite a few of them out, but with so many around me, they definitely got a few good hits in. My sword proved to be strong too, but I had to give these guys some credit. They may have been smaller than me, but they really fought with a lot of heart. Unfortunately for them, it was me who ended up taking all of their hearts. Eventually, they were nothing but dust. Look who's laughing now. Actually, I feel a little bad for taking them all out, but fish gotta swim and Zozo's gotta survive. On days 32 to 35, I spotted the quarry in the distance on a mountain. As it got closer, I noticed it was pretty quiet. I didn't see any activity. Where is everybody? I poked around the quarry, searching for someone. Anyone. Finally, I came across an office. I walked in and saw a foreman sitting alone.
Well, how do you like that? It's one of them big gorillas. I'll be mine. Never seen one of your types around these parts.
I came here to get some skyscraper materials. Where is everybody?
Shoot, you're out of luck, big feller. This here quarry had done shut down. Yes, sirree. Why, this quarry used to be a real resource hoedown, but we had to shut things down because of that gosh darn monster.
Monster?
As sure as I'm standing right in front of you. There's a terrible lizard creature snatching up my workers. No one dares work here anymore. It was an HR nightmare, and if I ain't got laborers, then I can't get no resources to sell.
Well, if I take care of that monster for you, would they work for you again?
I reckon that'd do it.
Looks like I had my next mission. Slay the lizard, get the quarry back into working order, get boatload of materials. I started searching around for the monster lizard creature. I jumped down the mountain and eventually noticed a cave opening. That seemed like a good place for a monster to hide. I crawled around the cave, following its twists and turns. Eventually, the cave opened up and there laid a giant Komodo dragon. It was snoozing. I cleared my throat. Hey, I'm Zozo. I was just popping in to ask that you don't kill any more of the workers at the quarry, because it's really bumming everyone out, and the dragon jumped at me and snapped. Whoa, I'm sure we can talk this through. Nobody has to get hurt. The dragon was not interested in negotiations. I had no choice. I had to fight back. This dragon had a mighty bite. I was striking the lizard whenever I could and dealing some major blows. But this lizard wasn't going down easy. There was a reason it had become king of the quarry. Komodo dragons had a terribly venomous bite. Thankfully, I had upgraded my armor. Otherwise, I might have fallen prey to this clever lizard's venom. The dragon chased me all around, but I could tell it was losing hearts. Fast. It doesn't have to be like this. You can go find another place to live. Don't make me do this. These workers just want to make a living. You don't need to keep eating them. The lizard would not listen to reason. Can't say I didn't try. With my sword drawn, I dealt the final blow. I vanquished the dragon. Ooh, and it dropped a pendant. Most importantly, I can get this quarry up and running again and get Luno back to the moon. I looked around the Komodo dragon's nest for a second to see if there was anything of interest. I didn't see anything, but then I heard a little voice.
Mama?
Oh, she was a girl dragon with a baby. My bad. This poor baby was without a mother, and it was my fault. I felt terrible. Hey there, baby dragon. I'm not gonna hurt you. I hope you can forgive me about your mom.
She wasn't my real mom. She was a really mean stepmom. Honestly, you did me a favor.
Phew, that was a relief to hear. Imagine if they had gotten along. This would have been super awkward. I told the baby that she was welcome to be my friend and to let me know if there's anything I could do for her. Then I headed out of the cave and back to the office. The baby followed at a distance. On day 36 to 39, I told the foreman that the monster had been taken care of and that the workers could come back now.
Yeah, well, ain't that just a kick in the pants? That's mighty grand. There's just one teensy-weensy problem.
Another problem?
You see, my workers ain't around no more. With no work here, they're fixing to make a new quarry of their own over yonder. But word is, that dog won't hunt. They's trapped in the middle of a newly formed lake after a big flood in that there area.
All right, point me in the direction and I'll see what I can do.
Go that way.
I stepped outside the office and saw the little dragon poke his head out from a nearby mine. I felt so bad. She didn't have anyone to care for her now, so I told her she could come with me. I hope this wasn't a fool's errand. Eventually, we came upon the lake, and sure enough, just as the foreman said, out in the middle was an island with some small houses. I crafted a boat. We set out up across the water and soon reached the other side. Once we got on the shore, the quarry workers came out to greet us.
Are you the rescue team? We have been waiting so long. Monster! Killer monster!
Oh no, I should have realized the baby would trigger these workers. No, I took care of the monster for you. This is just a cute, harmless baby. There's no need to be alarmed. I am here to rescue you and take you back to the quarry. As I said, there's no dangerous monster anymore. You now have a safe work environment. So what do you say? Want to get out of here? The workers cheered. They were tired of being on the tiny island. I offered them my boat, but they said it wouldn't be possible because they needed to take all their equipment with them. That was quite the conundrum, but that's what I was here for, to fix all the problems. I sailed back across the lake and started chopping down a bunch of trees. Eventually, I had enough to construct a simple bridge. Before going back to the island, I found a cave and collected some cobblestone. After grabbing some of that, I decided it was a good idea for me and the baby to take a nap. We had had a really long day and would need the energy. On days 40 to 43, I started to construct the bridge out of wood and stone to get across the lake. Halfway through making the bridge though, I hit a problem. More like a problem tried to hit me. There was a shark in the water. I should be able to give this guy a nice big conk on the head. I reached down to hit the shark, but it bit me. I kept struggling to climb out of the water. I saw the shark coming for me. I'm done for. But just as it reached me, the baby Komodo swiped its tail, smacking it hard in the face. The shark turned its attention onto the baby, and she snapped her venomous mouth at the shark. It didn't stand a chance after that. Thank you for saving my life, little one. And I'm still sorry about your stepmom. She really didn't seem upset by it. By the way, do you have a name?
It's Bubblegum.
Nice. That's a cute name. I finished the bridge and made it back over to the workers.
Thanks, Mr. Zozo. We'll start heading back to the quarry with all our stuff.
That was good to hear. I hadn't expected so many bumps in the road, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. Bubblegum and I got back to the quarry before the workers did, so I went to the office and let the foreman know the good news. He was so giddy that he was hooting and hollering.
We'll be up and running lickety-split. You'll be the first one to get what you need, and we'll give it to you on the house for all your troubles.
Sounded fair to me. I thanked him, and he let me know it'd be ready soon enough. On days 44 to 49, I returned back to my base with Bubblegum by my side. I told Luna about the drama and introduced Bubblegum. Then I noticed that the wandering trader was still hanging around. Hey, it took a bit of trouble, but I got things at the quarry back in order. They'll be starting production immediately. He was so happy to hear that. His line of work was no longer compromised.
You know, I have a network of other traders who could help bring the other materials over. That way you can get your stuff quicker. What do you say?
Sure, that would be great. Just let me know the cost.
Just put it on the credit.
Okay, I sure hoped I wouldn't live to regret that. Oh well. I noticed that Luna and Bubblegum were getting along really well. Hey Luna, I was thinking that Bubblegum could stay at our base. Are you okay with that? Luna loved the idea, so I started cutting out a spot to make room for Bubblegum to enjoy. Then it was time for some much needed sleep. On days 50 to 53, the first load finally arrived from the quarry. You people sure work quick. Talk about a speedy delivery.
We upgraded you to Wandering Trader Prime.
What's that going to cost me?
Don't worry about it. We'll just put it on your credit.
Okie dokie. I realized I was going to need somewhere to store all these materials. That was no problem. I built more of the skyscraper, but unfortunately, I realized the next hurdle. Glass. I needed a lot of glass. This project was surely exhausting. I know what will help me figure out my problem. Sleep. In the morning, I spoke with the traveling trader and asked if he had any connections to some serious glass stash.
You know, I do actually know of a glass factory, although it's some distance away.
Well, sounds like I'm due for another adventure. I'll set out now. I felt better leaving Luna alone now that Bubblegum was there to keep him company. I traveled through a few different biomes and eventually wound up at the glass factory. It felt like deja vu. I had a sneaking suspicion that this place was not in working order, just like the quarry. I entered the factory and saw that it was staffed by piglins.
You there. We have lost enough. Just leave us in peace.
I'm not here to cause you any trouble. I'm here to purchase some glass. Is there a problem with the factory?
Oh, there's a problem, all right. We've been overtaken by raiders. They told us they won't let us do any more mining for coal unless we pay them for access. But we're just piglins. How in the world are we to pay them?
That stinks.
I'm sorry, but I had Brussels sprouts for lunch. It makes me gassy.
Oh, I didn't mean it like that. Well, anyway, let me know how to help you. I'm pretty good these days at roughing up bad guys. Let me go have a chat with them. The piglins were excited to hear it and pointed me in the direction of the raiders. I was happy to get going because there was a really stinky smell around that piglin. I went in the direction they pointed me to and saw the mine was full of raiders. I'm ready to raid the raiders who raided the mine. No more Mr. Nice Kong. These dudes were slowing down my skyscraper production, not to mention being jerks to the piglins. I charged into the mine, muscles ablazing. I was tired of all this drama. I had a moon to get to. I didn't have patience for these punks. It's chopping time. They didn't know what hit them. I swung my sword and took out a bunch of them with ease. That's what I'm talking about. I got lower into the mines and saw diamonds all over the place. Sweet sparkles. Don't mind if I do. Is that pun getting old? I don't care. I'm just going to keep saying it. I quickly mined a bunch of diamonds and then went back to kicking some mob bum. There were a lot of them, so they got a few hits in, but these guys were like pesky fleas. Annoying. annoying, but no match for what I'd been through. Sadly, my armor was getting pretty damaged. Once at the bottom, a vindicator with hoarding the stash. So, you've been keeping the piglins out of the mine so you can have all the diamonds to yourselves. Diamonds may last forever, but your reign of terror is over. But then it came at me hard. Now I was starting to get nervous. My hearts were starting to go down. Then I got a weird idea. The vindicator was instantly drawn to it, as if he forgot all about the fight.
If it fits, I seats.
The vindicator captain was trapped. Oh, I can't believe that worked. I jumped down and landed endless blows to Vindicator. If you sits, I chop you to bits. Finally, the Vindicator was no more, and I was left the champion in the room of diamonds. I looked around the room some more and also found some chests full of gold. I can pay back the traders with this. I really had come a long way since my time on that playground. On days 58 to 62, I woke up and took a bunch of coal and diamonds and went back to the glass factory. I walked in and they all squealed with delight that I wasn't dead.
Praise Cole, you weren't overtaken. Does this mean you won, or did you flee?
I'll let all this coal do the talking. I showed them some coal.
You got coal, but coal can't talk, you know. You are very strong, but you seem to have knocked a few marbles loose up in that noggin of yours.
I know, it's just a saying. Oh, never mind. Anyways, yeah, I got rid of all the raiders. Now you can go and get everything you need.
Huzzah! Now we can mine our business for free.
About that, you said you didn't have a way to pay the raiders, but why didn't you use the diamonds to pay them? Piglins seemed confused. They had no clue what I was talking about.
Oh, you mean these shiny rocks? Bless your heart. Those silly rocks are utterly useless. Yes, too hard to even craft or melt down into anything. Again, I think you might need to see a doctor soon about that head of yours.
Oh, brother. I'll just let them think what they want. They weren't the brightest bunch, but they knew how to make some good quality glass. That's all I needed them to know about. So, should I be able to get regular deliveries of glass soon? Piglins let me know that they would make sure I was their priority for sending glass to. And as a gift for helping them out, they gave me a furnace sword. It showed how much they valued coal over diamond. This sword was so cool. I thanked them for the great treasures I now possessed. I couldn't wait to show my friends what I had found. On days 63 to 66, I returned back home to my base. I had glass from the factory, and now would get regular deliveries coming from the depot very soon. I was very excited about how things were looking up. I told my friends all about my adventures fighting the den of dangerous raiders at the mine. They were both so impressed and excited to hear about it. And then I said, if you sits, you be chopped to bits.
Huh, nice one, Zozo.
Yes, got it you still have.
I decided to craft diamond armor for each of us. Once I had the armor finished, I walked out and found the wandering trader. I was excited to fix my credit score with him. Hey, I'm ready to settle my debt. He couldn't believe I had enough to pay him. I gave him a giant amount of gold, and he was super happy about it.
Finally, my wife won't be so mad at me anymore for not getting paid for my labors all the time.
With the stash of new materials I had acquired, I began to add more to the skyscraper. You know, some windows, some walls, that kind of thing. This bad boy was getting some good height to it. Luno came and admired the work I had done. He said he was lucky to have a friend that cared so much about getting him home. I knew he would do the same for me. I also know he would like and comment on my YouTube videos, and you should too. On days 67 to 70, I was on top of my skyscraper when Luno pointed to something in the sky a good distance away.
What could that be?
Oh, I think it's a bird. Wait, no, it's a plane. No. It's the man in black! Oh no, he had found us! It'd be pretty hard not to see, I guess. I'm sure you could see it from miles away. The man in black was traveling via jetpack through the sky.
I'm sorry, but that alien must come with me. Give him up or I'll have to take him by force.
His name is Luno, and he is staying. Don't make me beat you up again.
I would like to see you try.
I jumped at him, but he flew off the skyscraper. Ugh, get over here and fight me like a man. He zoomed around me. Every time he got close, I would swat at him, but he was always just out of reach. I was running all around the skyscraper top. Then the man in black dive bombed me. Dude, I almost fell off. He dive bombed me again and I slapped him away. The next time, the man in black didn't come at me. He made a beeline for Luno instead. Luno was about to be taken. Luno! Luno held his little green hand up towards the man in black, and the man in black stopped moving in midair. The little alien had mind powers. Luno, you never told me you had special powers.
On the moon, they are not so special.
Here on this planet, we consider that a superpower. Now hold him right there, Luno. I'll finish him off. I punched the man in black's jetpack enough times that it malfunctioned, and he went plummeting to the ground. Look, he's falling. With style. We sure make a good team, Luno.
Thank you, friend. A great warrior you are. A good heart you have. A secret, I must tell you. Fell from the moon? I did not. Come here to seek help? I did. Being killed by a moon monster, my people are. In need, we are, for a champion. Told you I should have. Worried I was that you would not accept the challenge. But now I know you are the most brave hero. Sorry I am for not being upfront.
Don't be sorry. I would be happy to help once we reach the moon. Thank you for being honest. Our conversation was interrupted by screaming from down below.
What happened to the MIB we should see?
On days 71 to 74, Luno and I got to the bottom of the skyscraper only to discover that the man in black was still alive. I felt kind of bad for him. Well, I felt bad until I saw he had bubblegum on a leash. The man in black managed to get his jetpack working and took off with bubblegum, leaving us shocked at the turn of events. This guy is the worst. I can't believe he survived that fall. And now he has sweet baby bubblegum. Luno and I were so sad. Why would he take her? It just didn't make sense. Did he think she was an alien? What did he want with her? I spotted something on the ground. Maybe it was part of the jetpack. It was a strange material. I didn't recognize it.
You okay there, Zozo? Sounded like there was a big fight happening.
A piglin delivery guy stopped over to check on us. Yeah, there's this jerk who's been trying to capture us, and he took off with our friend. He dropped this.
I've seen that material before. It was over in Stony Peak Mountain. Yep, definitely seen that stuff. But I don't know what it is.
There wasn't much to go on, but it was all I had, and decided to follow the clue. On days 75 to 78, I hurried and made it to the Stony Peak Mountains. It was beautiful up here. Lots of stony peaks. Imagine that. Atop the peaks, I noticed something that actually wasn't a peak. It was an observatory. Right on, that's gotta be what I'm looking for. I knew it wouldn't be a walk in the park getting up the mountain, and I was right. Mobs, mobs, mobs. Say hello to my little friend. I used my new furnace sword. I was on fire. I kept swinging and swinging, hitting them as hard as I could. Eventually, I made it out on top to the top of the mountain. The fun had just begun. I was at the observatory door, facing 2 robot guards. I don't suppose you'd just let me pass.
Turn back. You are not permitted to enter.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I came this far, so either you're gonna let me through, or I'm gonna rip your arms out of your metal sockets.
Hostile enemy detected. Annihilate.
Looks like it'll be the hard way. I dodged their weapons and got a hold of them and let it rip. Didn't take too much to disassemble these dudes. I kicked open the doors and went ape crazy. I really tore it up in the place. There were plenty more robots as I searched the many hallways, and sure, they dealt me some damage, but I managed to obliterate them. You won't be back. I fought my way to the basement, but there was no sign of bubblegum. I couldn't help but wonder if I had come here for nothing. What if my friend wasn't here? No, I had to stop that kind of talk. I still had to search to the top. On days 79 to 84, I headed for the top of the observatory, and what do you suppose? That smug man in black was waiting for me at the top. Bubblegum was in a cage next to him. Well, if it isn't the man in splat. Get it? Because we tossed you off a skyscraper? I noticed there was a giant telescope pointed at the moon. Didn't anyone tell you it was rude to spy on people?
You don't know anything about me or this operation. I demand that you bring me the little green alien. I will trade you for your non-alien friend here.
Let me think about that. No. But you will give me back my Komodo dragon and leave us alone forever. And if not, well, then this conversation has got me really fired up. Let's rumble. We went head to head. This guy had all sorts of techie weapons. He knew he had to up his game against me. Clearly, he had expected this fight. We aimed, we hit, we blocked, we jumped. Why do you even want the alien? Just so you can torture him in your stupid little lab with your emotionally distraught guards? Yeah, that's right. I know all about your bagel incident. I won't let you hurt my friend.
Ugh, Fred. I'm so firing him when I get back. Listen, we aren't going to torture the aliens. I'm trying to protect it from violent animals, like you. And yes, we will study it a little, but nothing harmful. I saw that alien come down from the moon in my telescope. I've been searching for him ever since, and then you butted in.
We continued to fight, but I slowed down a bit. Hold on. We both want to help Luno. That's the alien's name, by the way. You'd know that if you were friendly for once, instead of using force to get the alien. He needs help. There's a moon monster destroying their lives, and I'm going to help stop it. We stopped fighting.
That explains a lot of what I'm seeing in my telescope. I think I had the wrong idea about you, and I think you had the wrong idea about me. I'm sorry. I see now that you were looking out for the aliens, Luno's best interest. Maybe we better stop fighting each other and team up instead. What do you say?
Well, as much as I was looking forward to kicking your butt King Kong style, I guess we can let it be. Now, can you let my baby friend go, please?
Yeah, sorry. We thought she was an alien too.
You really need to get out more.
So, what was your plan to save the Lunarians?
Building that skyscraper to touch the moon. Then, I'll go to the moon and face the monster. We got Bubblegum out, and the man in black told me to return to the base, and that he would be there soon. First, he needed some time to work on a tech weapon, and started the trek home with Bubblegum. A jetpack would have been handy, but oh well, walking was fine. On days 85 to 89, I arrived back to the temple with the baby in tow. Luno greeted us excitedly. He couldn't believe I had found Bubblegum.
Nothing there is that you can't do. A hero you are.
I was excited to tell Luno all about the encounter with the man in black. I explained that he wasn't going to be a threat any longer, but in fact, he was going to help. Luno and Bubblegum went inside to catch up. I was lucky to have found those two. I didn't have a family, and if I really was a King Kong, it sounded like I was the only one. Family comes in many forms. There's the family you're born into, and the family you make along the way. A wandering trader interrupted my monologuing.
I've been watching you. I'm moved by how much you care for your friends. It reminds me of our good friend Johnny. Rip. He was always sticking his neck out for me and saving me from things. In his honor, I'd like to give you an upgrade, free of charge. This will make you even stronger, if you can imagine that.
I thanked him profusely. What a nice guy. I climbed up into the temple and realized I hadn't had much time for renovating the temple. I wanted it to look impressive for the man in black. I added upgrades and a lab area for the man in black, in case he needed it. It took a lot of hard work, but after a while, I was able to get everything completed. That's when I heard some shouting. Oh, what now? It was a piglin and a delivery person. They weren't in any trouble. Quite the opposite. They were excitedly letting me know that the deliveries were complete. Oh, thank you for your hard work. On day 90 to 94, I crafted the enchantment materials the trader had given me. I was able to fully enchant all my armor and gear. I was super excited about that. This armor is perfect. I was ready to finish the work on the skyscraper. I buzzed around, building it taller and taller and taller and taller. This skyscraper was truly a ridiculous height now, and it was practically out of the Earth's atmosphere. I steadily climbed to the very top of the skyscraper to see how much closer I needed to be to the moon. I realized I was having a hard time breathing. There wasn't much oxygen up here. I guess I hadn't thought about that. This could be my undoing. Just then, as if he had planned it this way, the man in black appeared beside me.
Nice work on the skyscraper. skyscraper, Zozo. It's looking pretty stellar. That's a word kids still use nowadays, right? At any rate, I made you the spacesuit to help you breathe out here.
Wow, I was really glad he and I were on the same team. I thanked him, and then he also gave me an item that would make me super strong.
Wait to use it until you're on the moon. With the change in gravity, it'll work really well. Just don't use it here on Earth. It hasn't been studied yet, and I don't think it'll have the same effects.
I guess that man in black wasn't so bad after all. On days 95 to 97, it was an exciting day. The skyscraper was finally complete. Now I really am king of the world. I knew that little tiny gorilla on the playground skyscraper would have been really proud of me, now that I had come a long way. Pun intended. Luno joined me at the top. He was used to the atmosphere and didn't need anything special to breathe. So, what do you think?
Incredible it is. Strange to be back in space it is. I am scared to face the monster, but with you by my side, win, we will.
I told Luno to go back down to Earth and that he didn't need to come to the moon with me this time. Instead, I would let him know when it was safe again. Luno listened to me and went back down. I built a small bridge to connect the tip of the skyscraper to the moon. The bridge reminded me of how it's important to stay connected by subscribing to the channel, so we can always connect you to our exciting new adventures. On day 98, I took one small step for me, one great leap for the Lunarians. Houston, the King Kong has landed on the moon. It was so cool being on the moon. This gravity was crazy. I started to bounce around to take in my surroundings. I didn't see a single soul, but I did see a half-destroyed moon base. Something had definitely been here causing trouble. It was then that I remembered what the man in black gave me. I pulled out the strength potion and chugged it down. I could feel the power coursing through my veins. Whoa, this feels amazing. I started growing like crazy, becoming a mighty King Kong, just like the one the explorer had told me about. He was right. I did have it in me to become a great Kong. Zong Kong. Zong Zong? Either way, I was mighty. And check out my hearts. Now that's what I'm talking about. All this commotion must have gotten the attention of the moon monster though, because he came out of his hiding space next to the ruined base. Prepare to meet your match. The monster opened up its mouth and breathed lasers at me. Whoa, I didn't expect that. I then crashed into him, knocking him off balance. He continued to shoot lasers at me. Ew, those lasers are wicked hot. We rolled and brawled all over the moon. He had some really powerful attacks. They hurt and did some major damage to my health. I wouldn't have stood a chance if it wasn't for this mega strength potion I took, so I sucker punched him real hard. I opened my mouth to test out my supersized roar, but the sound waves didn't work right on the moon. Shoot, I was really hoping to use that ability. I would just have to make do with what I had. Heart counts for a lot, and I was doing this for the creatures I cared for. On day 99, the fight raged on, and I found myself losing. This beast was just too powerful, and I was sure he had advantages of being on his own turf. I was pushed towards my skyscraper. I had to make a decision. If I didn't retreat now, I could lose the battle altogether. I got onto the bridge and started destroying it as I ran across to the skyscraper. At least I'd have the last minute to regroup and heal myself before... Oh no, the beast took a running leap and jumped onto the skyscraper. I just let this heinous creature off the moon. Oh, this was bad. This was very bad. I couldn't allow him to climb down and start destroying Earth, and it was all my fault. I fought with all my might, and I was super weak now. Things are not looking good. I think this is the end. The monster got ready to deliver his final blow when suddenly he stopped. He was frozen. I looked around. To my great relief and surprise, I saw not just Luno, but a bunch of other little aliens that looked just like him. They were using their mind powers together, bravely and triumphantly. You saved me.
Saved us, you did. Showed us bravery, you did. Help Zozo, we must. Now, finish him.
They positioned the monster on the edge of the tower, and I used all my King Kong strength to knock him into next week. He fell from the skyscraper, down, down, down to his death. We had done it, together! On day 100, we were back at the Jungle Temple.
I figure you guys might like this big telescope for my base. That way you can check in on your family super easily.
I really misjudged you, Man in Black.
You can call me Kim.
Kim, I'm really glad we're friends now. Please feel free to visit anytime you like. It was time to say goodbye to my space friend. I didn't want to tell him, but I was super sad about him leaving. He felt like family to me, but he had his real family to get home to, and I would not get in the way of that. I guess this is goodbye. I'll never forget you. We all looked up at the moon together.
I'll never forget you either, because returning home, I am not doing. I wish to stay here.
I couldn't believe my ears. I was so happy to hear he wanted to stay. It was the perfect situation, and Bubblegum was really happy to hear that Luna was staying too, and waved at the Lunarians, waving back at us. On day 1, I spawned in as Iron Man, and look, I'm not a baby, I'm all powered up. I flew around firing lasers. This was really cool. These zombies have met their match. Time to say goodbye. I blasted the zombies out of the way. They were no match for the might of Iron Man. Once they were all destroyed, I was floating over the forest, scanning the area. Suddenly, something hit me out of nowhere. What was that? I didn't see who it was, but I heard a voice.
Say goodbye to your power.
I had hit the ground, but managed to survive. But look, now I only have 5 hearts. I had to hurry and leave the area though. Whoever that was could come back. Later, as I was escaping through the forest, a group of zombies came running up to me. I know how to handle these guys, but that was when I had my suit and powers. I didn't stand a chance now. I had no choice but to run away. I can't believe believe someone caught me off guard. They better watch out, because I'll stop at nothing to get my power back. But that was another day, so I settled in for the night. On day 2, I woke up all alone, still feeling weak without my powers. I had to figure out who was out to get me. I've got quite the mission ahead of me. I'm going to be building and making all kinds of really cool things. But before I can do that, I need to start with the basics. I went outside and got right to work planting trees. With the wood I had collected, I then made a crafting table. Using the crafting table and my leftover wood, I made myself some wooden tools, including a sword. Time to find some lunch. I went outside and soon came across a rabbit. That's going to have to do for now. I chased it down and got its meat. I might be trapped in the wilderness with no powers, but that doesn't mean I have to eat raw meat. As I took a look around, I soon came across a village. In the middle of the village was a campfire. Let's get cooking. I laid down my rabbit meat and let it sizzle. Soon, I had some cooked meat. I took a bite and was feeling much better. Suddenly, I realized what kind of village it was. It was a pillager village. Uh-oh, time to run. The pillagers chased me, but I managed to get away without losing my life. Later that evening, I took the simple supplies I had collected to start making myself a house to stay in. If those pillagers found me, at least I would have some walls to protect me. Soon, the hut was complete, and I settled in for the night. On day 3, I awoke to a knock on the door. Who could that be? I opened the door and saw it was Captain America. Or well, I guess it was just Steve Rogers. He wasn't looking so good. Steve, what's wrong? You're not looking like your normal fit self.
I was worried something had happened to you. I see now I was right. Your friend Ironmonger is to blame for this. I was minding my own business when he suddenly came out of nowhere. I don't know how he did it, but he managed to take away all of my powers. We might not be strong enough to help him right now, but we need to hurry and warn the others he's coming for him.
That's a good point. Let's stick together while we figure this out. Steve agreed, and so we figured it would be good to start building a proper base. We did some scouting around and soon found a nice cliffside that would work perfect. I didn't have my powers, but I could still get shipments of stuff sent to me. After a bit, an express delivery with all the supplies we'd need showed up, and we got to work. Building a house on a cliff like this reminded me of my mansion in Malibu. It wasn't going to be quite like that, but I was hoping to eventually make something just as impressive. Soon, the beginning of our base was complete. Thanks for your help, Pete. We'll let you know if anything else comes up. On days 4 to 5, Steve came over to talk. He wanted to know if I knew where any other superheroes were. Sorry, buddy, I don't. I really wish I did, though.
Well, you're a pretty smart guy, right? Is there something you could invent?
I thought it was a good question, but nothing came to mind. I stared at my empty crafting table when suddenly I had an idea. Oh wait, maybe that could work. I headed out to the caves to gather the materials I would need. If I could just get everything I would need, this special item would be the perfect solution to our problem. By the time I had made it into the deepest part of the cave, I had already managed to make myself some iron gear. It was about to come in handy as I was suddenly attacked by a bunch of magma cubes. Alright, boxheads, you're just what I was looking for. I swung my sword and managed to take a few of them out. As they disappeared, they dropped some charged coal. Once the threat was taken care of, I also found some nearby palladium, which I happily mined up. Alright, that's everything I'm going to need. Let's make this special item. I soon arrived back at the house and got right to it, smelting down the palladium into ingots.
I also needed a compass, which Steve gave to me.
At long last, the final pieces were starting to come together. I went to the crafting table and used the palladium, charged coal, and compass to make my special item, a superhero radar. Sure hope this works. Steve and I headed into another room, and I set the radar down in the center. I placed a lever on the wall and flipped it. The radar started to make a sound, and a purple line came out of it. That line is pointing us to a nearby superhero. Now we can help them. On day 6 to 8, I checked the radar again to get a clear direction of where to go. I told Steve to hang back at the base and keep an eye on the radar, just in case anyone else popped up on it. Let's go see who it's gonna be. I left the base and ran off in the direction the radar had indicated. Hopefully I could get to them in time. After a bit of traveling, I soon reached a village, but it looked like the place was abandoned. Hello? Is there anyone here?
Thought it was you stomping around.
Black Widow had come out of nowhere. Natasha, I can't believe I found you. There's no time to explain, but I need you to come with me.
Listen, I don't trust anyone that much, even you. You're gonna have to give me some kind of explanation.
Okay, Steve is back at my base, and you see neither of us have our powers anymore, so we've got to hurry to get out of here, or the same will happen to you.
Don't have your powers? Who or what did that to you?
Ironmonger! It was an answer to her question, but also an exclamation. He had popped up out of nowhere. Black Widow had sprung into action, trying to fight him off. I was still too weak though, and had to run away. Hang in there, Natasha. They continued to fight, but it was no use. Ironmonger was too quick, and managed to hit her with a special gun. He had taken away all of her special abilities.
Huh. I don't know what you two are up to, but knock it off. Go live normal lives like the ordinary people you are.
Before he could do us any more harm, we ran away. I couldn't believe he was able to do it again. On days 9 to 10, Black Widow and I arrived back at the base. We met up with Steve.
Natasha, it's good to see you. Wait, did something happen?
It was Ironmonger. I had gotten there in time, but he showed up and was able to steal her power.
Oh no, did you see where he went?
No, we had to get out of there. I hate this feeling. I've never felt so useless.
It's okay. Keep your head on straight.
I need some time to clear my head. I decided to get to work, build building Natasha her own place to stay at the base. It was good to have a project to keep my mind busy. I couldn't believe I was beaten by my own friend. Soon, Natasha's room was complete. On days 11 to 12, I went to check the machine and saw there was a new signal, but this time it was different.
What is it? What does it mean?
Not 100% sure. It's a new invention that even I don't understand completely.
Well, if it's pointing to a friendly, it's worth a shot trying to save him.
Yeah, I'm not so sure, Cap. What good are we as rescuers if we can't really rescue someone? Ironmonger is just going to show up again.
You don't know that. And come on, you know there's more to this than just being the strongest.
That's certainly something coming from you. I'll see what I can find. I left the base and headed in the direction the radar was pointing. As I looked around, I felt like I wasn't seeing anything. That's when I realized I was back at the place I'd crashed on day 1. Suddenly, I noticed something nearby on the ground. I picked it up. Jarvis, is that you? What are you doing out here, buddy?
Hello, sir. I'm delighted to see you have found me.
So am I. How are you?
I am here, but I am damaged. I am sorry for the loss you have suffered.
So am I, buddy. But hey, do you think you can help? You've got all that information from my suit stored in your memory, don't you?
I do, or rather I believe I do. My memory banks have been damaged, but it seems plausible they can be recovered. We will need to find the correct materials in order to recover it.
Sure, we can do that. I built a suit once, I can surely do it again. What's on that materials list of yours? Jarvis gave me the list of what I needed, and I headed off, right away. On days 13 to 15, I arrived at some caves, and headed on in to gather up the materials Jarvis had mentioned. First, I gathered up a bunch of iron, which was one of the main things I would need. Then I found some titanium, which was also going to come in handy. Alright, that should be everything I need from here. I then left the cave and found myself in a herd of cows. I took some of the cows out in order to get some leather. That was all the ingredients I was going to need. Time to get back to the base. On days 16 to 19, I made it back to the base and went into my garage. It was crafting time. I put the iron in the furnace and started smelting iron ingots. Then it was titanium's turn, which started smelting into titanium ingots. While the ores were smelting, I then opened a nearby chest and grabbed some glass I had. Then at the crafting table, I added the glass to some iron and palladium to make myself a new arc reactor. At last, power! With my new palladium arc reactor, I could start to put together a new suit. I grabbed the ingots I needed out of the furnace, then used iron, titanium, leather, and the arc reactor to make myself a chest plate. Oh yeah, here we go. With the chest plate finished, I then used the rest of my materials and made the leggings, boots, and of course, the helmet. This isn't the best suit I've ever made. In fact, it's just as good as the first one I built in a cave in the desert, but it'll be better than having nothing.
Hey, what have we got here?
Steve and Natasha had walked into the garage.
You built a new suit. It's gonna be so good for you. How did you pull it off?
It was with the help of Jarvis. I found him at the crash site. His memory is damaged, but he remembered enough to help me build this suit.
Think that's a good idea?
Do you think it's not?
No, it's great. It's just that you said Jarvis was damaged. I'd hate to see something go wrong.
I assured him that Jarvis was working well enough to help me make the suits again without putting any of us in danger. That seemed like an excuse though. Steve was probably just jealous I was getting my powers back and he wasn't. Before I could say anything else though, Natasha mentioned that she and Steve had gotten more food and stored it in the kitchen. All that crafting had made me hungry. I went over there to cook up some steak. This is going to be much better than wild rabbit, that's for sure. When the steak was ready, I scarfed it down. Delicious! I then went and started to make some more upgrades to the base. I was a man of luxury, so I decided the house needed a swimming pool. I picked a good spot and got the thing installed. All this building has given me an idea for one more big project. I headed out and got to work building a statue. These were dark times, and there was always one thing that could be a light in the darkness. Let me know what you think I'm building. Soon, the first part was complete. On days 20 to 22, I heard a notification go off on the radar, telling me another superhero had been found. I went and told Steve and Natasha the good news. They both wanted to come with to find who it was, but I told them it might be good for just me to go, given that I was the only one who had regained any of my power. As I put my suit on, I saw my health increase to 8 hearts. I was also stronger and had a flamethrower attack. It was time to help our fellow superhero. As I got closer to the place the radar was pointing me to, I saw a large tower in the middle of the forest. I knew just who I would find inside. As I reached the top, I could see Dr. Strange was there. Steven, be on your guard. Ironmonger is running around stealing everyone's power.
What?
He immediately got ready to fight. It was just in time too, as Ironmonger came flying over, firing down on us.
The good doctor. I think you've got just what I'm looking for.
Dr. Strange was ready though, and he started to put up a good fight. Ironmonger was going to have a much harder fight this time. I may have spoke too soon though, as Ironmonger managed to land a hard hit, knocking out Dr. Strange. Ironmonger lifted his weapon and started draining Dr. Strange's power. I had to do something. Oh no you don't. Even though I wasn't super strong, I charged in and managed to stop Ironmonger from taking all the power. Problem was, he was now focused on me. Dr. Strange was back in the fight though, and together we put up a good fight. In the end, we managed to hurt Ironmonger enough that he backed down.
This isn't the last you've seen of me.
He flew off. Steven, are you okay?
I still have some of my powers, but I'm definitely weaker than before. I need to go rest.
Dr. Strange opened a portal and walked through it. Well, that was a quick exit, but at least we could stop him from losing everything. I better get back to the base and see who else we can help.
On days 23 to 26, I was on my way back to the base when Jarvis piped up with some helpful information.
Sir, my sensors are indicating a lot of silver nearby. I think that could help.
Jarvis then told me what direction to go, and I headed there right away. As I arrived at the location he was sending pointing me to, I didn't see anything. Are you sure this is the right place? There doesn't seem to be anything here.
The silver may be beneath something, but I am 99% sure it is here.
Well, guess I better start breaking blocks. I started breaking things as I looked around and soon saw an entrance to a dungeon. What is this all about? As I went deeper into the dungeon, I ran into a bunch of piglins. You piggies better watch out. That's when I noticed that they had all kinds of materials stored down here. I hope you guys don't mind if I use some of this stuff. As I fought my way through the gang of piglins, I noticed that they dropped silver ingots.
There, sir. The silver I was detecting.
I happily picked the silver up and continued to fight the piglins. There were hoglins around as well, and they were a tough challenge. But I was up for the fight and soon made it to the dungeon's boss, a piglin brute with armor. You look strong, but I'm stronger. It turned out I was right. The piglin brute was really strong after all. He knocked me back, but I stayed in the fight. He wasn't going to get the better of me. After a long fight, I finally took him out. He didn't drop anything. But look, a chest. I went over to the chest, which was filled with silver. This should be more than enough. I hurried back out of the cave. On days 27 to 31, I arrived back at my base. I met back up with the team to tell them the good news. Guys, I was able to find Dr. Strange, and together we were able to fight off Ironmonger. Dr. Strange was weakened, but he was able to keep his powers. Everyone was really excited to hear the good news and couldn't believe Ironmonger had shown up again. Everyone, that is, except Steve.
He kept his powers, huh? Well, good for him, I guess.
I didn't know why Steve wasn't excited like everyone else. He really must be jealous someone else got to keep their powers. I left the room and went to work on a new set of armor. With all the new silver I'd collected, I was going to be able to build an even better suit. I took my time making each set, and soon I had a full set of Iron Man Mark II armor. Oh yeah, now this is what I'm talking about. With my new suit on, I noticed I had more health than before. I still couldn't fly yet, but I could jump a little higher and felt stronger too. I showed it off to the gang, and everyone was really impressed. If I kept finding more materials, I would be back to full strength in no time. I had to find more materials. On days 32 to 35, I decided to see what else Jarvis could find for me. I'm thinking of adding some more weapons to the suit. What do you think it can handle?
Scans show it is not strong enough to handle your repulsor cannon, but there is something else that might work. We'll have to travel far away, but I believe it will be worth it.
Show me the way. Jarvis explained the way to go, and eventually we made it to an entirely new biome. All right, Jarvis, what direction?
Down, sir.
It looked like it was time to dig. I think I knew what he had in mind. I kept digging and soon made it into a magma chamber. Let me guess, we need some lava.
No, sir. We're searching for a very specific mob. It should be here.
I started to explore. Could you tell me what I'm looking for? Just then, I almost ran into a monster. It was a mutant blaze. Yikes, thanks for the warning.
Sorry, sir, but my sensors aren't quite as sharp down here.
The mutant blaze's fire attacks were strong, but my new armor was doing its job. I was taking much less damage than I normally would have. I'm gonna put you out, Firehead. I kept on swinging, and at long last, defeated the blaze. As he disappeared, I saw he had dropped a blaze core.
The blaze core, that is just what we need, sir.
On days 36 to 39, I made it out of the hole and headed back towards the base. As I arrived back at the base, I went to the crafting area and got right to work on the new suit attachment. Using the blaze core, I was able to make myself a flamethrower. Oh yeah, I'm starting to heat up now. I called the others over and showed them my new toy.
Whoa, that new flamethrower is so hot right now.
Natasha was really excited about it, but Steve less so. No surprise there, he was just jealous. On days 40 to 43, I heard the power detector going off again. It must have found another superhero. Maybe with my new gear, I can even defeat Ironmonger this time. I let the others know that I would head out by myself again. Until they could get their powers, it just didn't make sense to put them in harm's way. I would handle everything. I set off in search of the superhero, and soon found myself in a thick forest. Hello, is there anyone around here? I kept shouting and looking around, but couldn't find anyone. All I saw were a bunch of bats flying around. Suddenly, they attacked me. What the? Get away from me! Using my new attacks, I managed to fight off the bats, but then I was attacked by some wolves. This forest is crazy! What's going on around here? The wolves snapped their teeth and swung their claws, but I was able to keep them away and knock them out. I still don't see anyone, but it's starting to get late. I better build a shelter for the night. I soon found a nice clearing and got right to work building a shelter. After a bit, my camp was set up. Time to get some sleep. I'll keep looking in the morning. On days 44 to 49, I woke up in the middle of the night to a rumbling sound. What was that? I ran outside and saw there was a huge castle that had appeared out of nowhere. Well, nothing else to do but take a look. I ran into the castle and was suddenly attacked by a whole bunch of spooky mobs. There were bats and all kinds of skeleton creatures. I had to fight for my life. Back off, you undead creatures. You'll never take me alive. I kept fighting my way through the castle until finally I saw something different than the mobs. It was Blade. Blade, what are you doing here?
What are you doing here? I've tracked a vampire to this castle and I'm so close to finally beating him.
I've come to warn you. Ironmonger is going around stealing power from superheroes. You've got to get out of here.
Thanks for the warning, but I've come too far to quit. I don't see Ironmonger anywhere, so I think I have time to finish my mission.
Well, let me help. Together we can get it done even faster. We soon noticed a coffin and walked up to it to take a look. We opened it, but it was a trap.
Oh no, what is this? I can't move.
Me either. Jarvis, clear this gas out of my suit. Jarvis got right to work, but he wasn't quick enough. Ironmonger had shown up.
Huh, stay still. This won't hurt at all.
Ironmonger used a special item and was able to take away Blade's powers. Jarvis had just cleared the gas from my suit though, and I was ready to fight.
I thought I told you to keep out of this.
Ironmonger didn't stick around to fight me, but instead released the vampire before flying away. Without his powers, Blade was in for a real fight. Come on, Blade, I'll help you. Blade and I got to work swinging at the vampire. Even without his powers, Blade was a good fighter, getting lots of hits in. He wasn't good enough though, and the vampire was able to really hurt him. You'll pay for that! I started attacking him even more than before and could tell I was starting to win. When he was at his weakest, Blade jumped forward and knocked him out with a stake for good.
Thanks for your help. I couldn't have done this without you. Here, take this stake. You never know when it could come in handy.
Thanks. I'll be sure to keep it close. I'm sorry about your powers. How about you come back to my base with me and we can figure this out?
That sounds like just what I need right now.
On days 50 to 53, Blade and I returned to the base. Then we met up with Natasha and told her what had happened.
I'm sorry to hear it didn't work out this time. It sounds like he's getting smarter.
I'm sorry too. But hey, where's Steve?
Oh, he said he had some errands to run and left. He didn't tell me what those errands were.
That's odd. Just then, Steve came back to the base.
Sorry about that. I was just collecting some more materials to upgrade the base. I thought you could use some new materials for our new guest.
That was a fair point. He was right, too. Blade needed a place to stay. Using some of the materials Steve had gathered, I was able to put together a room for Blade. Steve had also mentioned wanting a training room, so I got to work on that. Just because they had lost their powers didn't mean they couldn't stay in shape. Soon, everything was complete. On days 54 to 57, I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. I decided I needed to talk to Natasha in private. Hey, I wanted to ask, has Steve been acting strange to you?
Now that you mention it, he has. I haven't seen him do anything strange specifically, but he doesn't seem like he's been his normal self. I usually try and let people just do their own thing.
You see, the thing is, Ironmonger always seems to show up right around the same time I do. I'm not saying Steve is somehow tipping him off, but I want to be sure he's not involved.
Say no more. The next time you guys go, I'll keep an eye on him. That would be strange, but we'll feel better if we can rule it out.
Thanks, Nat. I appreciate it. I then reached out to Jarvis to help with the next stage of rigging up the superpower detector. If Steve was really tricking us, I needed to get the super detector to trick him. Jarvis said he knew what I needed to get, but there were some special items I needed to collect first. Let's get exploring. On days 58 to 62, Jarvis led me to a cave that was filled with spiders. I was pretty strong at this point, and these spiders were no match for me. I easily knocked them out of the way. Aha! There's the gold ore you wanted me to get. I quickly mined up all the gold I needed, then hurried back to the base. There, I crafted some special wiring out of gold and took it to the superpower detector. After I attached the new wiring, the detector started to go off. Everyone came running into the room. The detector found another super. Hang tight, guys. I'll go get them and help them out. Everyone agreed, and as I went to leave, I gave Natasha a nod to let her know the plan was on. She nodded back. I soon reached a mountaintop where the detector was pointing me to. Of course, no one was here, but I needed to put on a good show. Oh, hey Thor, I can't believe you're here. Just then, Ironmonger popped out.
Aha! Huh?
I was ready for him and gave him a good hit.
What the? There's no Thor here. I can't believe I've been betrayed and tricked like this.
What do you mean betrayed? How did you know I would be here?
I've said too much.
Ironmonger flew away. Something was definitely going on. I hurried back to the base. As I arrived, I could see Natasha was waiting for me.
You're not gonna believe this.
What happened?
After you left, I followed Steve just like you asked. Once he had gotten far enough away from the base, I saw him pull out a communication device. I got close enough to hear who he was talking to. It was Ironmonger.
You're right, I can't believe this. We've got to confront him right away. On days 63 to 66, I headed into the base to find Steve. I soon found him.
Hey, you weren't gone for very long. Did you find anyone?
There was no one there, but you probably already knew that.
What do you mean? How could I have known that?
Because you've been in contact with your friend, Ironmonger. Give it up, Steve. We know.
You don't know anything.
Just then, Steve started to transform. Suddenly, Steve was gone, and Mandarin was standing there. Mandarin! So it's been you all along. I should have known it was someone evil trying to trick us.
Well, you just aren't very smart, are you? You've been leading us to superheroes this entire time.
What do you want with us?
I've been absorbing all of the powers. Soon, you'll be unable to stop me. I was hoping I could wait for you to build another supersuit so I could steal its powers too, but no matter. You'd never stop me.
I leapt forward to attack him, but he was right. He was really strong. He knocked me out of the way and was able to escape. He wasn't fully powered up yet, but if he was this strong already, we were going to be in real trouble. On days 67 to 70, I went to talk to Natasha and Blade. I couldn't believe I had been tricked. I apologized to them for leading Mandarin right to them.
Don't worry about it. You were trying your best. Now that we know who we're really up against, we have a better chance of stopping him.
Thanks, Nat. I appreciate the support. And speaking of support, I appreciate all of you watching too. After this video, search for more Zozo. Z-O-Z-O.
Sir, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I've managed to repair my memory banks and unlocked a new design for another part of the suit.
Oh, that's great news. What do we need to build it?
It looks like we'll be needing some diamonds, but I'm not detecting any on my scanner.
You need diamonds? I haven't seen any underground, but while I was tracking the vampire, I stayed in a village full of them. I'll tell you where to go.
Blade explained where the village was, and I set off to find it. I soon arrived and saw that Blade wasn't lying. There were diamonds everywhere here. The villagers had all kinds of diamond tools and armor. Hey there, nice armor. Do you guys have any extra diamonds you could spare?
I might have some, but I can't just give you them for free.
That's understandable. How much do they cost?
You know, we've had quite a bit of a problem here, and if you can solve that problem, I'll give you everything we can spare.
Sounds like it must be a pretty big problem then.
Yeah, there's a monster that has started living in our diamond mine, and we haven't been able to go in there for weeks. Take care of that monster for us, and we'll give you our spare diamonds.
Okay, I'll do it. Tell me where to go. On day 71 to 74, I arrived at the diamond mine, but the place looked abandoned. I guess the monster really cleared this place out. Better see what I can find. I went into the cave but didn't see any diamonds. I didn't see anything for that matter. The place was super dark. As I went deeper into the mine, I placed torches to help me see. The mine kept going deeper and deeper. I was starting to wonder if it would ever end. At long last, I reached what seemed to be the final room. There's nothing here. Maybe the monster left or something. Just then, I noticed that the torches I had placed along the wall were starting to go out. One by one, they broke, getting closer and closer to me. Suddenly, the vampire from before appeared. What? I thought we defeated you. The vampire smirked and then attacked. He was even stronger than before, and this time he had some tricks up his sleeve too. He burst into a ball of smoke, summoning a group of bats. What in the world? This is crazy! The vampire had disappeared. I had to defeat these bats. I ran around trying to cut down as many as I could. Suddenly, I felt a hit. The vampire had reappeared. Get out of here, Dracula! I still couldn't believe this guy was still around, but I guess it's true. Vampires can never really be defeated. That's when I remembered. The stake! The vampire was getting weak now, and it was time to finish him off. I grabbed my stake and hit him, finishing him off. He would be back eventually, but at least I could get my diamonds in the meantime. I hurried back into the village and met up with the villager. It's done! The monster is gone! Now let's see about those diamonds.
Amazing! You saved us! Here, you can have everything we have to spare.
The villager tossed out a single diamond. I gave him a look. I thought you said you were going to give me all the diamonds you have to spare.
I did. We only have one diamond to spare.
Jarvis piped up.
That should be all we need, sir.
Thanks. Well, here, you guys might need this. I tossed him the stake and headed off, back to the base. On day 75 to 78, I arrived back at the base. It was time to make what Jarvis had remembered. As I went to the crafting table, Jarvis told me what I needed to do to craft a new repulsor. It wasn't my full suit, but at least it was a stronger weapon than before. Just then, Natasha came into the room.
You've got your repulsor up and running? That's great.
Yeah, problem is, I don't know where to go to find Ironmonger or Mandarin.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. When I heard Steve, or I guess Mandarin, talking to Ironmonger, I thought I could hear some machines in the background.
Blade came into the room.
Machines? There's a factory not too far from here. Maybe he's hiding out in there.
It's worth a shot. I'm not sure where else to look. They all agreed, and I decided that before I would leave, I would go ahead and finish the statue. It took a lot of hard work to get it done, but I soon had it all finished in no time. So what do you guys think? Did you guess what it was correctly? On days 79 to 84, I soon arrived at the factory Blade had told me about. I'm not sure if this is right, but we'll find out. As I got closer, I was suddenly attacked by a group of zombies. If there were zombies around here, there was a good chance Ironmonger or Mandarin were around too. I managed to fight through the wave, but avoided using my repulsor. In case Ironmonger was watching, I didn't want him to know I had it. Soon, all of the zombies were defeated. On days 85 to 89, I entered into the base. That's when I saw Ironmonger standing amongst a bunch of zombies trapped in cases of liquid. What are you doing?
I knew you would show up here eventually. I'm doing what needs to be done. You superheroes think you can just do whatever you want. Zombies can be controlled, so I'm taking your powers and giving them to them. Then I will control all the powers on Earth.
Oh, I see. You don't want to stop superpowers. You just want to be in charge of them yourself. I won't let you get away with this.
Huh. You've been trying to stop me this entire time and have never beat me. Today, I will finish you for good.
We'll see about that. Ironmonger flew up in the air as a door opened, letting zombies into the room. There were a ton of them. Uh-oh, I better take care of these first. I ran around the room trying to take out as many zombies as I could. This was a tough fight with so many things going on at once. I had to defeat Ironmonger though. My friends were going to need all of their powers back. Where is Mandarin hiding?
You'll never find him, because you'll never leave here.
Ironmonger and I were now fighting each other directly, and it was getting intense. He hadn't expected all of my upgrades though, and I was really hurting him.
How did you get so strong? I thought I took everything away from you.
A suit isn't a brain, and that's what's going to defeat you. I fired my repulsor at him and took him out for good. As he disappeared, I saw he had dropped some unique parts, which I picked up.
Sir, we can use these materials to remake your strongest suit.
Yes, now we just need to find Mandarin and get everyone's powers back. Let's do this. On days 90 to 94, I made it back to the base. I ran right over to Natasha and Blade to tell them the good news. I was able to defeat Ironmonger. The bad news is that he was trying to inject zombies with your powers.
That's horrible. It's a good thing you beat him, though.
Speaking of, any way to get our powers back?
Before I left, I saw he had some kind of machine that must be storing your powers. If you guys go there, you may be able to get them back.
Right on. Thanks for all of your help.
You've got it. Now I've got to get to work returning to my final form. I rushed over to the garage as the others set off for the factory. Using the materials Ironmonger had dropped, I got to work building my final Mark III version of my armor. After a lot of hard work, my armor was restored. Yes, it's going to feel so good to fly again. I ran up the stairs of the house and over to a balcony. Here we go. I jumped off and nothing happened. I landed in the water below. Jarvis, what's going on?
Sorry, sir, but while your suit has been restored, the flying capabilities still need some repairs.
Don't you think you could have told me that before I jumped off the cliff?
My apologies, sir.
It's okay, no harm done. Now where do we need to go? On days 95 to 97, Jarvis instructed me that we would be heading to the Nether, so I got to work building a Nether portal. I hadn't been able to get a diamond pickaxe, so I had to get creative. By using lava and some water, I managed to fashion a Nether portal together. It took a bit to get it all done, but soon I had my own Nether portal ready to go. All right, Jarvis, show me the way. I stepped into the portal and soon found myself in the Nether. This place always gives me the creeps. Let's make this quick. There was some quartz nearby, so I quickly ran over to it and mined it up. Luckily, that was all I needed, so with my pockets full, I jumped back into the portal. Back in the garage, I got right to work, crafting the flight module. It didn't take too long, and soon, it was all complete. I walked back towards the cliff, jumped off, and it worked. Yahoo! I'm a flying man once again. I took some time flying around, feeling good that I was finally powered up. Just then, Jarvis delivered some interesting news.
Sir, the superhero detector at the base is going off. The signals are off the charts.
I hurried back to the base and went into the detector room. The machine was going crazy. The signal is way too strong for it to be Natasha and Blade getting their powers back. Mandarin must be up to something. It was time to take him down. On day 98, I headed off in the direction the detector was pointing. Not too much later, I saw a giant base rising out of the ground. This has to be Mandarin's base. Just then, I was attacked by a bunch of zombies. Oh no, he must be trying to do the same thing Ironmonger was. I've got to get to him, and quick. I was so strong that I knocked the zombies out of the way, no problem. But there was still a lot of them. I also couldn't help but notice some of them were stronger than others. I had to hurry and get to the top. Out of the way, zombros. I kept firing my repulsor cannon until at long last, all of the zombies were defeated. I ran over to the stairs and started heading up to the top. As I got close, I passed a sign in the distance. Oh, subscribe! You should do that right now. And once this adventure is over, go look up some more of my other ones. Just search Zozo, Z-O-Z-O, to find them. On day 99, I reached the top of the tower and saw Mandarin floating in the sky. Wait, how are you floating?
Impressive, isn't it? You're too late. I've absorbed your friend's powers, and now you'll never be able to defeat me.
No, I don't believe it. I'm going to knock their powers out of you.
Bring it on, rich boy.
Mandarin started firing energy blasts at me, causing some big explosions. I returned fire, launching attacks with my repulsor cannon. I had to be careful though. Getting caught in those explosions really hurt.
The time of the superheroes is over, and the time of the supervillain has begun.
I managed to get a hit in with my repulsor, which stopped his monologue. But suddenly, a bunch of yellow smoke appeared, and Mandarin was gone. Where did he go?
Looking for me?
Mandarin reappeared, launching more energy blasts. He could teleport now. This wasn't looking good. I had started to fly around, but this was tough. I was hanging in there, but I didn't know how long I could last.
What's wrong? Am I too strong? Let me make this easier for you and finish this.
There was another plume of yellow smoke, and Mandarin copied himself. I was getting attacked from all sides. Oh no, he's too strong. I was taking out some of his clones, but there was no way I could keep this up. I finally took out the clones, but took a heavy hit. One more hit, and it was all done for me. I removed my mask.
I'm going to enjoy this. You have been a thorn in my side for too long.
Suddenly, a portal opened, and all of my friends came running through, including Dr. Strange and Captain America.
Thought I ought to pay you back.
This guy stole my face. That's America's face, not his.
We were able to get our powers back.
All thanks to you. Now let's return the favor.
Well, aren't we all just one big happy family? Well, you're too late. I'm not just as strong as all of you. I'm stronger.
Mandarin cloned himself again, and we all started to fight. It was on now. He was still strong, but there was no way he could take us all down, because even though we might be equal in power, we had something he didn't. Friendship.
No, it can't be. How can I be losing?
We had defeated all of his clones and surrounded him in the center of the platform. Well, thanks for playing. Tell Ironmonger we say hello.
No!
I blasted him with my repulsor, destroying him for good. My friends and I all gathered together. Steve, I was wondering what had happened to you.
Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, the doctor here came and found me. By the time we met up with the other two, they had just gotten their powers. We came here right away.
Just in time, too. Suddenly, another portal opened, and Hulk came through. Wait a second, this isn't where I was trying to go. Where's Abomination? Uh-oh, that Hulk sounds like me. Looks like me from another video somehow wound up here. Can you help him get back? After this video is over, go watch my Hulk video. On day 100, we had all arrived back at the base. The world was safe once again, and everyone had their powers. But we would stay vigilant and keep an eye out. You never know when trouble could strike again. On day 1, I spawned in as a baby Na'vi from the movie Avatar. I was surrounded by a bunch of other Na'vi, but I was the only baby. Why am I a baby? Are you my parents? Just then, Colonel Quaritch showed up with a bunch of soldiers.
Consider this a warning. In 100 days, I'm going to attack and destroy the Tree of Souls. Without the Tree of Souls, all the Na'vi will disappear.
Everyone around me was angry, and they attacked. It was no use though. We were no match against the Colonel and his men.
Quick, Zozo, take this.
My parents threw me a ceremonial bow and some arrows, and told me to hurry and hide deeper in the cave. No, wait! My parents joined the fight, but they too were quickly defeated. I had no choice but to run away and hide in the cave. I have 100 days to stop the army from destroying the tree, but how can a baby like me stop an entire army? On day 2, I ran deeper into the cave. I had to be careful because I only had 4 hearts. Just then, I heard footsteps behind me. Someone was coming. I hurried and hid. A few military guys came running up and stopped in the tunnel.
Did you see where that little baby Na'vi went? Colonel is going to make us do 200 push-ups if we don't find him.
You mean that baby?
Uh-oh, they saw me. I hurried and pulled out my bow, trying to hold them off. It's not working. I can't die already. Suddenly, something came running up to me. It was a hexapede.
On my back. Hurry. What's your name, little guy?
It's Zozo. What about you?
Nikayu. Pleased to meet you.
On day 3, Nikaru and I had reached an area deep in the woods. The space was filled with all kinds of creatures. Wow, I was wondering where you guys went to hide from the soldiers. Nikaru then brought me to the wise old leader of the hexapedes.
And what brings such a small Na'vi to a place such as this?
I told him about the soldiers and how they had ambushed my colony. I also told him that I had less than 100 days to save the Tree of Souls.
If they destroy the Tree of Souls, all life on our planet will disappear. We must protect the tree at all costs. You aren't planning on taking the whole army down alone, are you?
They took out my whole tribe, so it's just me.
You're going to need all the help you can get. I'm too old to fight, but please take these supplies to aid you on your journey.
Thank you. I don't know how I'm going to stop them yet, but I will do everything I can.
We believe in you, but be careful. Colonel Quaritch will not hesitate to destroy anyone who stands in his way.
I nodded and prepared to leave. Before I could get too far, Nikaru stopped me.
This battle affects us all. I'm strong and can help you in the fight.
I would love to have your help. Let's do this. On days 4 to 5, I decided it was time to start preparing myself for the fight. I went around punching trees and got enough tools to make myself a crafting table. With the crafting table completed, I then made myself a wooden pick. Let's get stony. Using my wooden pick, I mined a bunch of cobblestone, then used the cobblestone to craft a full set of stone tools. After I finished crafting, I realized it was starting to get late. I better start building my base. I can't risk getting attacked at night. I quickly got to work, building myself a base. I had found a giant tree and decided to build a base inside of it. I built rooms for both Nikaru and me to live in. It's just a simple base, but it should keep us safe for now. By the time I finished building, it had gotten late. That's when some spiders attacked out of nowhere. Oh no, I spoke too soon. I swung my sword furiously and was able to take them all out. Just then, I felt a burst of energy and gained 10 hearts. Oh yeah, I'm even stronger. Before I went to bed, I decided to set up some torches. No more random mob attacks for me. On days 6 to 8, I woke up and decided to check the village from earlier for survivors. As I looked around, I saw that the soldiers had totally trashed the place. Then I saw a girl running from a soldier. Hey, why don't you pick on someone your own size? The soldier heard me yelling and stopped running after the girl. Then he turned and ran toward me. I had gotten stronger, so I wasn't afraid. I used all of my weapons and abilities, but he was still really strong. It was an intense battle, and we ended up on a balcony. I swung as hard as I could and knocked him over the edge.
As the soldier disappeared, I saw he dropped something. The girl he was chasing ran over and picked it up. Find anything good?
It looks like a map to a prison. Thanks for taking that guy out, by the way. What's your name?
My name's Zozo. What about you?
Neytiri.
Nice to meet you. What were you doing out here anyway?
When these soldiers attacked the village, I escaped during the fighting. I came back to try and find my parents.
It looks pretty empty here, but maybe the prison on that map is where they're being held.
I'll try anything. Let's go.
On days 9 to 10, Neytiri and I made our way toward the prison. We carefully followed the map and soon saw a small prison in the distance. That must be it, but it looks like there's no guards.
Let's get closer and find out.
Just then, a grenade was tossed in front of us, blinding us. When we came to, a tough-looking soldier jumped out and attacked. They must have seen us coming. I tried my best to fight him off, but he was too strong. This was a fight I wasn't going to win. Neytiri and I had no choice but to jump down the tree and run away. Once we had gotten far enough away, we paused to talk. It looks like we're not strong enough.
This all feels so helpless.
Don't worry, we can figure it out. In the meantime, you can stay at my base. On days 11 to 12, Neytiri and I arrived back at the base. I hurried and built her a room to stay in.
Thanks for looking out for me, Zozo.
No problem. I wanted to ask you though, what do you know about the Colonel and these humans?
I doubt I know much more than you, but when our village was under attack, I did overhear the Colonel saying he will rule over our planet once we're all wiped out.
We can't let that happen. I was feeling angry about the Colonel, so I decided to look for more materials. I soon found some iron and coal. Back at the base, I loaded up some furnaces and started smelting. Then I crafted some iron tools, along with some iron boots and leggings. Neytiri then came over to me and let me know he was feeling a little hungry, so I went out to try and find some food. After some walking, I found some carrots. Oh yes, he'll love these! I returned back to the base and dropped off the carrots to Neytiri, then headed outside to start a carrot farm. Now we'll never run out of food. On days 13 to 15, I wanted to get stronger, so I asked Neytiri if she could help.
The strongest warriors would train by hunting manticore, but only the adults. True warriors never harm the babies.
Okay, I'll give it a try. I left the base and soon found myself in a tundra. The manticore should be close by. That's when I noticed some manticore feathers on the ground. Aha! I must be getting close. I looked a little further when I saw 2 manticores up ahead, a baby and its mom. I started to sneak toward the adult when suddenly a couple military guys jumped out and took out the baby. Those cowards! They then tried to fight the mom, who quickly took out one of the soldiers. It wasn't enough though, and the other soldier took her down. I rushed in. What do you think you're doing?
The Colonel has given us orders to destroy all the animals. We can't have you Na'vi trying to get stronger now, can we?
That's assuming I'm not strong enough already. I charged at the soldier, angry at their disrespect. The soldier thought he was a tough guy, but in a few moments, I showed him up and took him out. As he disappeared, I saw he had dropped a manticore heart. I picked it up and took it with me back to the base. Back home, I went over to Neytiri and told her what happened. Then I showed her the manticore heart.
That is what our warriors are after when they fight the manticores. Eat it.
Eat it? If you say so. I scarfed down the manticore heart, and to my surprise, I gained 6 more hearts. Now that's some powerful stuff. On days 16 to 19, I headed out to do some more exploring. As I wandered, I soon found an ogre village. As I watched the ogres living peacefully in their home, I suddenly remembered my own life, a time where I lived peacefully with my own parents. Those evil humans want to break up all these wonderful families. I won't let that happen. Speaking of which, a group of soldiers had just shown up, and they were attacking the village. The ogres all ran into their homes afraid. It was up to me to help them. Not today, humans! I charged in, using all the weapons I had at my disposal. These soldiers were tough, but with my training and upgrades, I was getting tough too. After a bit, I had won. A dad and his baby ogre came out of their house. He thanked me for defending the village, then offered me a jar to say thank you. Is this a jar of farts? I'll find a good way to put this to good use. Thanks. On days 20 to 22, I started heading back to my base. I was thinking about the jar of farts when I was attacked by a crimson mosquito. How do you like this? I unleashed the jar of farts, which took him out with ease. Well, that didn't stink. Later, I saw some iron ore, which I mined up. Back at the base, I smelted the ore into ingots, then crafted them into a chestplate and sword. With my new equipment, I returned to the prison. Maybe I'd have better luck this time. As I arrived back at the prison, I saw another stun grenade pop out. It was the guard. He fired his weapon at me, but I was able to sneak up behind him and knock him out of the tree. This guy was tough and managed to hit me with a poison dagger, which really hurt. Even though he had grenades and weapons, I was able to get him down to half a heart. Before I could finish him off though, he started to laugh. What's so funny?
Whoever you're looking for here is already dead.
I suddenly saw a vision of Neytiri's parents being interrogated in the prison. They refused to tell the Colonel anything about the Tree of Souls.
Then you will die. Goodbye.
Back in the present, the soldier tried to attack me again. He was weak though, and I finished him off. Inside the prison, I saw it was empty, apart from a necklace memento. I'll have to take this to Neytiri. Maybe it can help. On days 23 to 26, I arrived back at the base with some bad news for Neytiri. I soon found her. Hey Neytiri, I managed to get into the prison, but I'm afraid it's not what we were hoping for.
My parents are gone, aren't they?
I'm afraid so.
I thought that might be the case, but was hoping maybe I'd be wrong.
If it helps, I did find this. I gave her the memento. I could tell it really helped her feel better.
Thank you, Zozo. But hey, I have something to show you.
Neytiri brought me outside and showed me that she had collected some chickens. This was perfect, as I was starting to run low on feathers for arrows. I got right to work, building them a chicken coop, then bringing them into it. I then went out to get more supplies. I found more iron, as well as some diamonds. I made an iron helmet to complete my armor set, then crafted a diamond pickaxe. To finish it all off, I got to work improving the base. I wanted to make it a little nicer for everyone. When I finished, I realized it was missing something. I think it just needs to be a little bit more avatar-y. On days 27 to 31, I headed out to find the materials I needed. On the way, I ran into a couple chocobos. Hey, are you guys okay?
We're looking for our favorite food, nightshade berries. These soldiers kicked us out of our land, so we don't know where to find it.
I don't know where to look, but I'll keep an eye out. I invited them back to my base in the meantime, to which they happily agreed. I soon came across the soul lights I was looking for and started mining. Suddenly, a flock of pateras started to attack me. Hey, I'm not bothering you. Leave me alone. I managed to fend the pateras off, and then I finished mining up the soul lights. Back at the base, I used the soul lights to finish the decorations. It was looking really great. I then built the chocobos their own rooms to stay in. They were really happy about that. Then Nekaru came running up to me.
The soldiers are attacking my herd. Come quickly.
I jumped on his back and we rode off to help. On days 32 to 35, we hurried back to the herd. As we arrived, I could see the place was filled with soldiers. We've got to help them. I rushed in, knocking out as many soldiers as I could. The hex beads had really hurt them, so I was able to finish several of them off. That's when I saw a soldier fighting the elder. Hey, get away from him! The soldier hit the elder, a hit he surely couldn't survive. No! I rushed in and took out all of the remaining soldiers. I approached the elder, but it was too late.
Zozo, stay strong and keep fighting. And please, keep looking after my son.
And before I could respond, he died. Nekaru, I'm sorry. I didn't know he was your dad. All I could think about was the moment my parents died. My heart hurt for Nekaru.
It's okay, Zozo. Looks like we're both orphans now.
We still have each other. You can stick with me for as long as you want. On days 36 to 39, I decided to spend some time out alone. It had been a rough few days. That's when I heard someone call out to me.
Hey, you! Wait!
What's going on?
My house has been taken over by a boar! Everyone is too scared to help me.
Okay, sure. I'll help. Tell me where to go. I headed off in the direction the goblin had pointed me. I soon saw the cave he described, and when I went inside, the boar attacked me. Hey, don't be so mean! The boar was tough, but I finally managed to beat them back. I was about to deliver the final blow when a voice cried out.
Wait! Please don't hurt my mom!
I turned and saw a baby boar. I asked them why they were in someone else's house, but before they could answer, the goblin from earlier showed up.
What are you waiting for? Take them out!
Wait, something isn't right about this. Just then, the goblin went to attack the boar. But before he could do any real damage, I stepped in and took him out.
Thank you! That goblin was trying to kick us out of our home.
Wait, that's what he said you did to him.
He was lying so you'd come after us.
That's when I noticed he had dropped a note. It was from the Colonel. It read, "Destroy as many animals as you can, and you will be rewarded greatly. He's trying to turn everyone against each other. We've got to hurry and stop him." On days 40 to 43, I arrived back at the base. I felt bad for everyone who had lost a friend or family, so I decided to improve the base. I went around and made each room a little nicer. Now that's looking great.
I'm really worried about the herd. My father had really given them a home.
Then tell them all to come live here. Nekaru went to tell the other animals, and I got ready, preparing a place for them to stay. We were all going to be one big happy group, and I couldn't wait for everyone to arrive. Just as I finished up, the Chocobos from earlier came over to chat. They told me they were now big fans of carrots, but unfortunately they were going to need their favorite food. Otherwise, they couldn't survive. Okay, don't worry guys, I'll find it. They explained what it was and where I could find it, then I hurried off. On days 44 to 49, I arrived in the location that the Chocobos had told me about. As I was exploring, I nearly ran into the Colonel.
Aha! I knew I would find you here.
What do you want?
You keep attacking my men and saving all the animals. Stop getting in my way.
I'll never stop, not until you're defeated.
Good luck with that.
The Colonel waved his arm, and a super soldier dropped from a Samson aircraft in front of me. The Colonel chuckled and left us to fight. This was going to be my hardest fight yet. The super soldier was strong, bigger than normal humans, and had attacks I had never seen before. He shot rockets from a tube he was carrying on his shoulder. What lab did this guy crawl out of? I did my best to hit him with my bow, but it didn't seem to do much damage. The arrows weren't working. Looks like it might be time to try something new. On days 50 to 53, I kept fighting against the super soldier. It was time to stop fighting from afar and get up close and personal. Take this! I charged in and started swinging my sword. With me being this close, his rockets were completely useless. Now that he wasn't hitting me as hard, it was only a matter of time. At long last, I delivered the final blow. Looks like I'll be the one fighting another day. As I looked around, I saw the Colonel had been watching the battle.
I'll be back for you, Zozo. Mark my words.
I charged at the Colonel, but before I could get a hit in, he threw a stun grenade right in front of my feet. When the smoke cleared, the Colonel was gone. I'm the strongest I've ever been, but it's still not enough. I have to get stronger. On days 54 to 57, I remembered I was supposed to be finding the Chocobos' food. At long last, I saw what I was looking for. As I got closer though, I was suddenly attacked by two hammerhead titanotheres. Oh man, I must be on their turf. The two hammerheads were incredibly strong, working together to hit me with their attacks. It wasn't enough though, and I managed to take one out. Uh-oh, looks like the other one is really mad now. The remaining hammerhead charged at me, no longer trying to be strategic. It wasn't much longer, and I had taken them out as well. As it disappeared, I noticed it had dropped poisonous skin. I bet I could use this to make poison arrows. Oh, this will really help me out. I then collected the nightshade berries and headed back to my base. Back at the base, I met up with the Chocobos and gave them the nightshade berries. They jumped for joy and told me that they could now access their special power. Special power? You should have mentioned this before. The Chocobos explained that they can tap into the planet's life force and communicate with those who have passed on, but only for short amounts of time. So, my parents. The Chocobos nodded and then put their head down. There was a glow, and suddenly I could see my parents in front of me. Dad? Mom?
It's us, Zozo. We're so proud of you and what you're doing. Keep fighting. We know you can defeat the Colonel.
There was another bright light, and they disappeared. Thank you for doing that for me. Now let's win this fight. On days 58 to 62, I got to work planting some of the nightshade berries so the Chocobos would have a constant supply. As I finished, Neytiri came up to me.
Thanks for getting these planted. I've been enjoying taking care of the other plants, so I'll make sure these are good as well.
I thanked her, then left to try and go find some more diamonds. As I went deeper and deeper into the mines, I soon found a whole bunch of diamonds. Before I could start mining though, I was attacked out of nowhere. What are you doing down here, you creep? I then mined up all the diamonds and went back to my base. With my diamonds, I made myself a couple of pieces of armor. Then I headed out to the farm and made some improvements, so Neytiri could feel happy while she worked on the farm. On days 63 to 66, one of the Chocobos came running over to me. They told me they had spoken to a great warrior who had died long ago. This warrior told him about a powerful weapon that could defeat the Colonel. That could be the very thing we need to win. The Chocobos told me that it was in a different biome and told me where to go. I set off right away, and I soon reached the vortex. As I searched, I soon saw a temple, and I noticed there was a Leonopteryx flying around overhead. As long as he doesn't bug me, I won't bug him. I approached the temple and headed inside. This had to be where the weapon was kept. Suddenly, a Thanator jumped out. I took my sword, ready to fight. Then the Thanator spoke.
Wait, don't attack.
I thought you were going to attack me.
Of course not. I'm super nice. This temple is my home, but some other not so nice mobs have kicked me out.
Oh man, well I'm looking for some kind of ancient weapon here. Do you know anything about it?
It's possible. The temple is filled with all kinds of old relics. Clear the place, and you can take whatever you want.
Deal. On days 67 to 70, I followed the Thanator deeper into the temple. As we walked, I noticed several pieces of art and books that looked like they were centuries old. Eventually, we stopped outside a room, and he turned to me.
They're in there. Viper wolves, and lots of them.
I'll take care of it. You hang tight. I ran into the next room, and sure enough, there were a bunch of viper wolves. They immediately attacked, and I did my best to fight them off. My ticket to beating the Colonel could be hiding here. I had to win. Time to say goodbye. I kept swinging, and at long last, the viper wolves were all defeated. I heard a noise in the corner and saw there were some smaller Thanators hiding nearby.
Thank you, Zozo. This is my family.
They all thanked me, and I took off to look for the weapon the ancient warrior had mentioned. I looked and looked in every nook and cranny, but there was nothing. Shoot, the weapon must not be here anymore. I met back up with the Thanator and invited him and his family to live at my base, but he said they were happy here. I thanked him for letting me look, and then left to go back to my base. On days 71 to 74, I left the temple as the Leonopteryx circled in the sky above. I paused for a moment. Did you know this isn't my first adventure? You can watch more of my videos after this one is over. Just search for Zozo, Z-O-Z-O. I was getting closer to my base when I came across a group of soldiers. More of these guys, huh? Not for long. I charged in and started taking them out. The less pesky soldiers there were, the safer the land would be. Soon, I had taken them all out. That's when I noticed one of them had dropped a note. It said,
"To all soldiers, there is a Na'vi named Zozo who needs to be defeated immediately. I, Colonel Quaritch, am working on a special weapon to destroy the Tree of Souls. It will be done at the end of the 100 days, but this Zozo needs to be dealt with immediately. All soldiers will be on double shifts until he is destroyed."
It looks like I'm making a dent, but what is this weapon he's working on? I have to find a powerful weapon of my own, and fast. On days 75 to 78, I arrived back at my base and went to talk to the Chocobos. I went to the temple and searched everywhere, but I didn't see it anywhere. The Chocobo was really confused, as the spirits they talk to are rarely wrong. But unfortunately, they didn't have any other ideas. They promised to try and figure it out. I decided that in the meantime, I would improve the base. It was starting to look really good now. I could tell everyone was really happy, and I hoped it could always be like that. When I had finished making my upgrades, Neytiri came over to talk to me.
Zozo, I have some great news.
What is it?
I have been experimenting with the plants and developed a superfood. I want you to be the first to try it.
I picked it up and ate it down. It was delicious. Suddenly, I felt energy flow through me, and I grew even bigger, with even more hearts. Whoa, this is awesome! On days 79 to 84, I decided to test out my strength. I soon arrived in a new place and spotted the perfect test subjects. How do you like me now? I jumped in and managed to take them out in just a few hits. Now that's what I call power. Just then, I spotted someone watching me from afar. It was another Na'vi. He came over to me.
"You're pretty strong."
Thanks. I can take on anyone.
"You could be stronger though."
Oh, what makes you think so?
"Well, I'm stronger than you. Check it out."
The Na'vi hit me, and he was right. He was strong. Ouch! Okay, you didn't have to hit me. I believed you. What's your secret?
"Come, I'll show you."
The Na'vi then put me through a training program. He had a lot of good advice, and I was able to learn so many new things in a short amount of time. Once we were done training, the warrior tossed me an upgraded bow. Thanks, I'm feeling even stronger already. By the way, how did you get so strong?
It was my mission to ride a Leonopteryx, but I've never been successful. Now I don't even know where to find one.
I didn't know you could ride those. I actually saw one not too long ago. I could show him to you.
No, I'm much too old now, but I think you could do it.
Yeah, I'll give it a try. Say, why don't you come live at my base with me?
No thanks. The wilderness is where I belong.
I thanked him for his help, then turned to go back to my base. On days 85 to 89, I returned to the base and saw it had been attacked. Buildings were broken and no one was around. Oh no, what happened? Where is everyone? I ran around the base, looking to see if I could find anyone. I soon found Nikaryu. He was injured and hiding in one of the ruined buildings. What happened here?
The soldiers! They came out of nowhere! They took Neytiri!
Oh no, I have to save her! Where did they go? Are you okay?
Yes, I'll live. Quick! They only left an hour ago. They went that way.
I hurried in the direction Nikaryu had mentioned, looking for any signs of the soldiers. Then I heard someone calling for help. Neytiri! I ran toward the sound, but saw it wasn't Neytiri. It was a dire horse, who was clearly injured. Before I could say anything, it spoke.
Are you looking for that girl?
Yes, have you seen her?
I tried to stop them, but they knocked me out of their way. They're moving quickly, faster than you can run. But there is another way.
What's that?
Nearby is a special plant. Blue orchids grow on top of that tree right over there. Harvest one of the leaves and rub it on my wound. Then I can carry you to them in no time.
Okay, show me the way. He told me where to go, and I ran off. I soon saw the tree. It was extremely tall, and the leaves I needed were at the very top. Let's get jumping. I jumped from branch to branch, doing my best not to fall. At long last, I reached the top and grabbed the leaves I needed. Sometime later, I was back by the dire horse. I applied the leaves, and he immediately hopped up.
Hop on. There's still time.
On days 90 to 94, the dire horse and I could see the soldiers appear in the distance. There was no time to waste. As we got closer, I could see Neytiri. She was being guarded by a few guards, as well as another super soldier. But this super soldier looked even stronger than the first one. I jumped off the dire horse and told him to get a safe distance away. I faced him. Let her go.
Come to save your friend, huh? You'll never win. Get this Na'vi punk out of my sight.
The normal soldiers charged at me, but I knocked them out with just a few hits.
Huh, you're stronger than you look, but not stronger than me.
The super soldier charged at me, unleashing a special attack. I didn't see it coming, and it did a lot of damage. This was going to be tough. You'll never take our land, our people. I took out my bow and landed a perfect shot, which seemed to disable his special attack. Now the fight was really on.
You'll pay for that.
On days 95 to 97, our battle raged on. He was madder than ever, now that he didn't have an advantage. Both of our hearts were dropping, and it was only a matter of time until one of us fell. Suddenly, he stepped back. One more hit, and I would win.
You think beating me changes anything? I've done my job already.
What is that supposed to mean?
The Colonel has already completed his weapon to destroy the Tree of Souls. We took the girl to take you out of the game. You're too late.
No! I jumped toward him and destroyed him for good. Then I noticed he dropped something. With this, I can do his same special attack. I quickly freed Neytiri. Hurry back to the base using the dire horse. I'm not strong enough to defeat the Colonel yet, but I think I know what I need to do. Neytiri nodded and ran off to find the dire horse and get back to the base. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm crazy enough to try. On day 98, I rushed back to the temple. The ancient warrior said this was the location of the weapon, but he never said it was inside of the temple. I looked up at the Leonopteryx. If I can tame it, I'll finally be able to be the ultimate warrior. The Leonopteryx kept flying around, ignoring me completely. I thought about it for a moment, then pulled out my bow. I aimed and fired. The arrow was a direct hit. The big bird let out a screech and headed right at me. Oh boy, I may have really stepped in it this time. The bird swooped down to hit me. I jumped to the side and tried to get on its back. I was close, but missed. Shoot, I've got to keep trying. The bird was interested in attacking me now, and I did my best to avoid it. Sometimes it hit me, but most of the time I was able to land on its back. Finally, after several attempts, it worked. Got you. The Leonopteryx was mad at first, flying around like crazy, but soon it recognized it had lost, and soon it was smooth sailing. We bonded through the flight and soon landed back on the ground. I hopped off as the bird flew away, and suddenly I felt the power flow through me, and I leveled up into my biggest, final form. At long last, I'm ready to take this Colonel down. On day 99, I returned back to the village where it all began. The Tree of Souls was nearby. I passed through the tunnels I had run through nearly 100 days ago. I had grown so much since then. Suddenly, there was a flash of light, and I could see my parents standing before me. I was so close to the Tree of Souls, it made it possible for them to show themselves to me. Mom, Dad.
Great job, Zozo. We've been watching your journey and are so proud of everything you've accomplished.
Thank you. I just wish I could have saved you too.
Don't worry about us, son. Everyone on the planet is counting on you, but we know you can stop the Colonel and save our way of life.
I will do my best.
We will be watching and supporting you. Do not lose hope.
There was another flash of light, and they disappeared. I soon emerged from the tunnel into a large cavern. I could see the final tunnel to the Tree of Souls, but an army of super soldiers were blocking the path. Oh no, how could I possibly get past all of them?
You won't be alone.
I turned and saw Nakaru, along with all of the friends I had made along the way.
We will distract them. You go for the Colonel.
I don't deserve friends as great as you.
We don't deserve a friend as great as you.
I smiled and thanked them for being my new family. It was going to be a tough fight, but it was for our home. Everyone ready? Attack! My friends charged at the super soldiers, who were shocked to see that they were the ones being overpowered. As they fought, I saw a chance to run through the tunnel. I took it and headed in. Hopefully my friends could stay alive long enough for me to take the Colonel down. On day 100, I entered another large cavern. In the center of it was the Tree of Souls. It was still standing, but the Colonel was in a mech suit, shooting it with energy beams. Colonel, it's over. I'm here to stop you for good. You'll pay for the lives you've taken.
Stop me. Can't you see you're too late? This weapon can't be stopped, especially by a weakling like you.
You'll have to destroy me first.
I've spent 100 days developing this weapon. That will be easy.
The colonel then turned and fired his beam at me. It landed near me, causing an explosion. The explosion knocked me to the side, causing a lot of damage. I hurried and got out my bow, firing off arrows as fast as I could. I got some hits in, but it looked like it wasn't doing much damage.
Arrows? Really? Do you see what you're up against? Give up now, and I'll let you stay alive as my pet.
I'll never stop fighting! He shot off a beam again, this time hitting me. It nearly took all of my hearts. I ran and hid behind some rocks so that I could hurry and heal up.
See what I mean? You have no chance, cowering like a small child, because that's what you are.
Just then, I saw a wood sprite land near me. A wood sprite? It's a pure seed from the Tree of Souls. I could tell it wanted something with me.
Accept me.
I closed my eyes, and the wood sprite flew into me. I felt myself get stronger. Suddenly, more and more wood sprites started to appear and start flying into me. The power of generations began flowing through me. I grew even bigger, and now had 100 hearts. I stepped out to face the colonel again.
What? How?
You failed to understand the world around you, and so now you'll fail to defeat me. The colonel yelled and started firing his energy beams at me. They still did some damage, but I barely felt a thing. I charged at him, sword in hand. I jumped into the air, slamming my sword down on top of him. His suit exploded, and he was destroyed. The world was safe once more. I celebrated with my friends. If anyone else tried to hurt us again, we would be ready.
On day 1, I spawned inside of Gotham City as Batman. Well, Bat Baby. And to no surprise, it's under attack. Being this tiny is a little intimidating with all the fires and criminals running around. It's a giant disaster. Someone needs to clean this town up. Just then, the Joker appeared.
Hear ye, hear ye! In a mere 100 days, I will be launching my new product. Yes, that's right. I will be flooding the world with Smilex gas. Hee. Everyone will be turned into clowns. Stay tuned for the big drop. Here's a little teaser. Hee.
Just then, he grabbed a couple thugs and turned them into clowns with a sample of his clown gas. This clown gas was serious business. I had to get out of there, so I ran into a nearby alley. I have 100 days to figure out how to stop Joker before he sends in the clowns. On day 2, I made my way around Gotham's alleyways, getting to know them. I realized I only had 3 hearts, so I'd have to be very careful. Just as the thought left my head, I bumped into a couple of Joker's thugs. They weren't very friendly. You wouldn't hurt a baby, would you?
Aw, a puny Batman. Let's smash it. Joker will be so pleased.
They had no mercy, and they started to attack me. My only defense was to run. I tried to lose them in the alleys, but eventually they cornered me in a dead end. I had nowhere else to run. I was done for. You'll never get away with this. Just as they were closing in on me, I heard someone call to me from above. I looked up and saw a cop looking out a window.
Quick, use your grappling hook, kid.
Grappling hook? I checked my supplies, and yep, sure enough, I had one. I shot it into the air, it locked onto the window, and I whizzed out of reach of the thugs. That was a close one. Thanks for the life-saving tip. I see you're a cop. Why is there so much crime in this city?
Sorry, champ, but there's no time to explain. Come with me, I'll get you out of here.
On day 3, the policeman took me through a secret passageway inside the apartment and through a tunnel that led to the Gotham City Police Station. So this is where law enforcement is holed up. Can I have a word with whoever is in charge? The policeman took me into an office.
Commissioner Gordon, I have someone here who wants to speak with you.
Yes?
I quickly explained to the man about Joker's plan to turn the world into clowns in 100 days. Well, 97 days to be exact. The man named Gordon was very concerned, but looked defeated.
That's good intel. I wish I had the resources to go after him. I really do. But most of my men are injured from fights, and we are low on supplies. Do you have anyone to look after you?
Mom? Dad! Can anyone help me? No, not anymore. But I'm tough. I don't need anyone.
Well, you won't last long alone. Here, take these.
He handed me a potion of healing, a potion of regeneration, a chicken sandwich, some extra bread, and a smoke bomb to help get away undetected. Whoa, that is super cool of you, Commissioner. Thank you. I won't rest until I have stopped the Joker.
How about I come with you? I know this city like the back of a donut. And there's not much left to do here, sir. I finished mopping the bathroom twice.
That would be amazing.
Well, it's all right with me. Just take care, you two. Joker is not someone you want to mess with.
We'll be careful. We understand Joker is seriously twisted. I followed the policeman back out of the headquarters and into the city. On days 4 through 5, we were back in the city and trying to avoid the thugs running amok. I decided that if we wanted to remain with our hearts intact, we would have to find a place to lie low until we got stronger. The policeman, whose name was Joey, had an idea on a safe place to go. It was an abandoned house outside the city. He called it Wayne Manor. It sounded promising, and so we headed out of the city into the wilderness. As we passed by some trees, I punched a few to craft a table and make some wood tools. Then I mined some stone to upgrade my tools.
Bad baby, we got some company, the hairy kind.
There was a pack of wolves getting ready to attack. We dashed away, but we couldn't outrun this foe. I had to think on my feet. I instinctively grabbed the smoke bomb and created a giant cloud of smoke. The wolves were disoriented, and we made a break for it. We lost them. Wait, there's still one on our tails. I'll handle this. With the help of my stone sword, I was able to defeat the lone wolf. With the battle won, black particles shot up into the air and bats spawned around me. I started to grow into a slightly bigger bat with more hearts. My suit also looks way cooler now. The rest of the wolves had now caught up, but seeing me change before their very eyes scared them off. They turned and ran.
Nice work, kid. Now let's get out of here.
We finally made it to the empty manor. I fixed up a couple of the rooms and called it a night. I showed the policeman to his new room and we went to bed. On days 6 to 8, I woke up and explored outside to get more wood. I ended up near the outskirts of the city and saw a woman being chased by one of Joker's thugs with a knife. Hey, leave her alone! The thug turned his attention to me and came at me. We brawled for a while, and thankfully, I could tell he was on his last leg, and I was able to best him. With the thug gone, the woman approached me.
Wow, no one has ever come to my rescue like that before. Thank you. My name is Vicky, by the way.
Nice to meet you. I'm Zozo. Sorry that guy was chasing you.
Yeah, I'm used to it. You see, I'm a photographer, and I've been documenting all the destruction Joker has caused since taking over. I was getting some really great shots when a monster attacked, and I accidentally dropped my camera, but had to keep running. I'm mostly devastated about that.
That's awful luck. We can go on a recovery mission to get your camera back. I'm down to clown with those clowns. Vicky was so surprised and excited that I would help her. But hey, I am Zozo. It's what I do. On days 9 to 10, Vicky and I waited until the cover of nightfall to sneak back into the city.
Over there.
Vicky motioned to the end of a long alley where her camera was on the ground. We looked around, and with no sign of the monster, I took my chance to seize the camera. Just as I was about to grab it, a big mob jumped down from his hiding place. He was blocking the camera. I could not get to it. I tried to take him on, but he was too strong.
Vicky, we have to abandon our mission. We gotta get out of here.
We ran away until we reached the outskirts of town. We stopped to catch our breath once it was safe.
I'm so sorry we couldn't get to the camera. I failed you.
It's disappointing, but it's not your fault. You're the first person to offer to help me. I'll just have to try again another day.
I'm glad you're not angry with me. Well, for the time being, you're welcome to stay at my base. It's a safe location. Vicky accepted my offer.
On days 11 to 12, Vicky and I returned to Wayne Manor. I asked her if she knew anything about Joker's evil plans with the gas.
I overheard he is planning to release the gas up from the sewers, but that's all I know.
That was a hot tip. Thanks, Vicky. Vicky was going to need her own space in the manor, so I fixed up a spot. I showed her what I had done.
This is the nicest thing anyone has ever done for me.
Ain't no thing but a bat wing. I then turned my attention to the fact that I was seriously underprepared to go back to the city. I'd need to get stronger, so I headed out to mine some iron and coal. Then I went back to the base and built a furnace to smelt the materials into some armor and a couple other handy tools. My stomach started to growl. I'm sure my friends were hungry too. I poked around for some food and ended up finding a cemetery on the premises. There were 2 graves there. The gravestones read the name of my parents. And cue the waterworks. I felt sad that they were gone, but comforted that I could visit their resting places. Eventually, I came across a small wheat and lettuce field. I used the seeds and wheat to lure some cows, sheep, and chickens back to the yard. Welcome to the Wayne Manor farm. I built them corrals and got them all set so we could have a constant food source and breed them. On days 13 to 15, I wanted to find a way to get stronger, so I asked Joey if he had any ideas.
We need items, kid. Potions, enchantments, protections, that kind of thing. And most of all, donuts. It's the way we cops keep sustained. We hid stashes of this stuff all around the city. I can tell you where to find one.
It's worth a shot. I quickly went back to Gotham to find a stash. After a bit of sneaking around, I reached the location where the policeman said it should be, but it had already been looted. Thwarted again. Wait, what's this? I found a map left behind. I inspected it and it led to a new stash. Hopefully no one had beaten me to it, but the map seemed untouched. That was a good sign. I followed the map. Ouch! What the? I was being pummeled by arrows from a mossy skeleton nearby. I was covered in them. I looked like a hedgehog with those arrows in me. This was not good. The arrows were poisonous. I would have to act fast. I attacked him with all my bad gusto. After a lot of back and forth, I managed to emerge victorious, despite my wounds. With the mossy skeleton out of the way, I found the nearby stash. Jackpot! It hadn't been raided, and there were all sorts of goodies inside. Potions, enchantments, a police badge, and, you guessed it, donuts. There's an inscription on this badge. It says, "He who wears this badge, so also wears great responsibility." I remembered the vow I had made after those thugs had hurt my parents, to do everything in my power to fight crime in Gotham City. I put the badge on. I'm powering up with righteous vengeance. The badge leveled me up, and it gave me more health. On days 16 to 19, I made my way back out of the city as my newer bat self. I saw a child on their own and tried to approach them to see if they were all right, but they ran away from me. I trailed behind the kid and saw them slip into a building. I walked up to the door of the building and saw the child with their mother. I stepped into the building and greeted them.
Mommy, I'm scared.
You don't need to fear me. I'm a friend. My name is Zozo.
Leave us alone. My son has already lost his father. We don't want any more trouble.
No, please don't do this.
I felt for this poor kid. I knew what it was like to lose a parent. I'm going to help protect this city and get rid of all these thugs. I promise. I will stop the Joker. As I said this, a couple of thugs appeared behind me. They started hitting me, but being this much bigger gave me a fighting chance. I beat them up until they went poof.
Wowee, you really are strong. You're going to be a hero for our city, aren't you, mister?
I don't know if I'm a hero, but I am vengeance. I am Knight. I am Batso.
I thought you said your name was Zozo.
Yeah, I was trying out a cool name. Never mind. With that, I disappeared into the night and left the city. On days 20 to 22, I fought off some zombies and skeletons on my way back to Wayne Manor. I fought them off with ease. I'm so much stronger now. That was a piece of cake. As I got closer to the manor, I found a cave with some iron. I mined some for later use. Can't have too much of that handy. Finally, I arrived back at the manor and got straight to work, adding some more armor to my suit and a strong iron sword. With this upgrade, I felt much more confident. I think I can take on those earthy monsters that guarded the camera. Once night had fallen, I snuck back to the city and down the different alleyways to where the camera was miraculously still laying on the ground.
And the monster was still there too. He lunged at me, and I drew my iron sword. I sliced away at him. It was really difficult to keep my health up. Each hit really dealt a blow. He was not holding back, but neither was I. My armor, although not quite finished, held its own too, and thanks to that, I started chipping away at his health. I was coming out on top. With a final blow, he crumbled before me, and to dust he shall return.
I recovered the camera and inspected it to see if it was damaged.
As I flipped through the pictures, I saw there were videos too. It looked like Vicky had been chased by a group of henchmen. She managed to lose them before taking a final picture.
Wait, the last photo taken on here, that thug, could it be the one that hurt my parents? My head was reeling. On days 23 to 26, I returned to the manor and gave the camera back to Vicky.
You got it back. I can't thank you enough. You really do have a superpower. You never give up.
That's a pretty cool catchphrase. I might have to take that one off your hands. Now that you have the camera, does this mean you'll be going back to Gotham?
Actually, I was thinking it would be great to stick around here for a while. Is that all right? I've grown kind of used to the safety.
You can stay as long as you want.
Thanks. I'm going to take some photos out my window. It's got quite the view.
Cool. I'm going to finish my armor. It's almost complete. There was just one problem. I didn't have enough iron, so I went to a nearby cave and mined a bunch more iron. I took the iron back to the manor and finished up my armor. I made some more tools, too. Once I was done with those projects, I passed the time by upgrading the manor. With Vicky sticking around, I wanted her to feel more at home and things to be less run down. Besides, it would be great to restore Wayne Manor to its former glory.
On days 27 to 31, I decided to explore some more, but in the opposite direction of the city. I wandered into a desert. I eventually came across a camel.
Hey, I don't want any trouble, Mr. Bat Guy.
Me neither. I'm just passing by.
Phew. I just moved from Gotham and I get beat up a lot. Some of these humps are just swelling. Can you believe? That's why I'm out of here. But to be honest, life is still tough, you know? I'm a hipster camel. I'm not fit for desert life.
Just then, some husks popped up and started attacking us. The camel was spooked, but I won the brawl with ease. I've got a place not far from here, and so far it's been safe from thugs. You're welcome to join me and my friends. There's plenty of space at the old manor. The camel was relieved to get an invite back to the manor. Since I was in the desert, I had to take advantage of all the sand everywhere. I mined some so later I could smelt it into glass. Once I had enough, I returned to the manor to fix up all the broken windows with the smelted sand. Then I made a cozy barn for the camel. Hopefully this barn will help him stay camouflaged from the bad guys. As I put the finishing touches on, Joey rushed in.
Hey kid, you're gonna want to see this.
We walked outside and saw that in the sky there was a light high in the sky with a bat symbol in it coming from Gotham. It had to be a signal. Gotham needs us. On days 32 to 35, Joey and I hurried to Gotham. We saw that the signal was coming from the police station. It was under attack. Evil little penguins and Joker's minions were setting fire to the station and knocking giant holes in the walls. I should have known the Penguin and Joker were behind this. Joey and I drew our weapons and got down to business annihilating the cronies and flightless fiends. One by one, we picked them off. With the two of us fighting, we could deal more damage, but even that wasn't enough to stop the carnage going on all around us. We fought our way into the building. We have to find Gordon. Head for the elevator. We made it to the top floor to find a hurt Gordon surrounded by bad guys. You want to act crazy? Let's get crazy then. Hi-ya! These punks were no match for the Bat Dude. The name is still a work in progress. Anyways, back to fighting. I kicked their trash with no mercy. We rushed to Gordon's side. He was pretty badly wounded and was the lone survivor of the attack. We had to get him out of there before more henchmen came.
Wait. Ugh. Open that chest real quick before we go.
I followed Gordon's orders. Inside the chest was a Batman armored suit and a grappling hook upgrade. Holy bougie upgrades, Batman! It was time to blow this burning popsicle stand. We helped Gordon escape out of the city and back to the manor. There, we fixed up a room for him so he could have a quick recovery. Joey also volunteered to stay and watch over him. On days 36 to 39, we let Gordon rest, while I harvested food for the growing number of roommates.
Pardon me, sir.
I turned to see a nicely dressed English gentleman meekly standing before me.
My name is Alfred. I used to be a butler for the mansion some time ago. Now that the household appears to be up and running again, I wish to assist as a butler once again. I know a lot about this place, sir. For instance, did you know there's a bat cave under Wayne Manor?
A bat cave? Sounds cool. And of course you can be butler again. We definitely could use someone like you around here.
You might also like to know that there's a giant bat creature who has taken over down there. I tried to shoo him away, but, well, no such luck.
Alfred knew everything. I had him lead the way.
Through this hidden elevator, sir. Straight down. There's only one stop. You can't miss it.
Before going, I crafted a grappling hook. I entered the elevator, and it opened up to the Batcave. More like a massive tech lab with rock walls. This is awesome! There was a deafening screech. I was grappling with what to do next. Wait, my grappling hook! This is like roping cattle. Yeehaw! I was able to cast the hook and take hits at the bat, while also blocking his attacks. We brawled for a while, but I got the last hit. Batcave was safe at last. I heard slow clapping. Alfred was entering the cave. He showed me around the Batcave, including a weapon stash, and how to use the high-tech computer.
We can use the computer to find the source of Joker's gas.
I think we know where his gas is coming from. Am I right, Alfred?
Potty humor is low-hanging fruit, sir. I will work on the findings for the gas, but it will take a while.
Great, I'll grab some weapons out of the stash. I equipped myself with a gnarly hippogriff talon sword, an extra grappling hook, a C4 remote-controlled detonator, and some smoke bombs. There was also a nice Batman suit in the chest. It was slightly better than iron, but worse than diamond. This place had it all. On days 40 to 43, we headed back upstairs to the main floors. I spiffed up the manor and then fixed up a room for Alfred. He was very pleased and promptly took a nap on his sofa. While Alfred snored, I moved on to the dining room to do some renovations in there as well. Home is where the Batcave is. To my surprise, the little kid from Gotham and his mother were walking up to the manor.
I was hoping I'd find you here, though. Gotham has gotten even worse. We can't stay there anymore.
Stay here then. We will look after you two.
Can some other children seek refuge here too?
Bring them all.
I immediately got to work upgrading the manor to accommodate all the new arrivals. While I was working, the camel came up to me.
So, I was like totes eavesdropping and heard you guys talking about Joker and some crazy evil gas ploy. I totally saw a sus factory out in the desert that was serving up massive Joker vibes. Like, no joke.
I thanked him for his awesome hot lead. I knew where I needed to go. To the desert to locate that sus factory. On days 44 to 49, I was traveling alone in the desert when I heard a vehicle approaching. It was a mean-looking, dark purple roadster, and it was heading right for me. This could only be one person.
My. What do we have here? It's our little Batsy friend who is ruining all of our fun. Hee.
Joker.
That's my name. Please wear it out. And don't be such a party pooper. Clowns just want to have fun, you know. I see where you're headed, but I'm afraid you're too late. Hee. I already have all the gas I need.
The only gas you'll be releasing is from the prison burritos when I'm done with you.
Oh, is that so? Tell me, have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? 'Cause I have.
Joker started talking to someone I couldn't see.
Chester, where's your manners? Aren't you going to offer our bat friend here a snack? I was thinking a knuckle sandwich.
Out jumped a creepy clown golem, and Joker sped away, laughing maniacally. Chester was big and scary, but he was just one dumb thug. How hard could it be? Well, I was about to learn. Bring it on! On days 50 to 53, I was going toe-to-toe with this giant armed golem. His thick, long arms really packed a punch, and he had a lot of range. Gah, I need to get close so I can hit him where it hurts. This was my hardest fight yet, but I had some tricks up my sleeve. Hey Chester, I'm hooked on you. I whipped out my grappling hook, pulled him in range of my fancy sword, and slashed him up. And how do you like this? I threw a smoke bomb down to make the golem dizzy and confused. Then I darted around him, dealing him blow after blow. Eventually, the golem started to crack. Now was time. I acted quickly. He didn't even see it coming. 3, 2, 1, kablooey! The C4 exploded as the golem walked over it. He went soaring into the air. You play with the bat, you get the wings. I turned my attention to where the Joker had sped off to. I began to follow the tracks to the factory. Something Joker said was echoing in my ears.
Just another dance with the devil in the pale moonlight.
That's what the killer said. Could the Joker be the same person who hurt my parents on that horrible night so long ago? I kept heading towards the factory. I had to investigate. On days 54 to 57, I finally reached the desert factory. To no surprise, there was a guard out front. Excuse me, did you order a drink? The guard was confused.
No.
That's funny, because you look like you could use some punch. I knocked the guard down. He was out cold. One down, probably a million to go. I marched inside. Inside the factory were large machines producing Joker's clown gas, as well as, you guessed it, a bunch of cronies.
Clowns, attack the bat!
They sent the creepy clown creature after me. Clearly they had been transformed by the gas. Hey, no funny business now. The clowns were crazy, but I handled them. You know, for a bunch of clowns, you're really not that funny. When the henchmen saw I was defeating the clowns, they came at me themselves. Take it easy. I just want to shut down your entire operation. Chill out. This is the most hostile circus I've ever been to. I loved messing with them while I beat them silly. Eventually, there was only one henchman left.
I'm the ringmaster of this circus, and you just bought a ticket to die.
Yeah, Mr. Tough Guy, huh? Let's see how tough you are against my little toys. I hit him with my extra damaged sword. Ooh, that's gonna leave a mark. I noticed the henchman dropped a crowbar and a gas mask. I hope this can protect me from the clown gas in the future. Now I need to search for a way to shut the factory down. After looking everywhere, I found a big lever with a sign. Do not press. Why do we even have this lever? Signed, the Joker. Yeah, I'm gonna press it. I pulled it and I heard all the machines shut down. Victory! On days 58 to 62, I made it back to the manor and thanked the camel for his information that led me to the factory. I saw that the orphans from Gotham had arrived. Welcome to Wayne Manor. Hope you feel at home here, kids. If you happen to find any weapons, don't play with them. With more kids around, there were more mouths to feed. I needed to expand the farm. I'll be back. Gotta run some errands. Did I just become a father to a bunch of kids? Too late to go back on it now.
If I can best an iron golem, I can keep a horde of children fed. I found some seeds for planting, then tracked down some animals. Here, piggy, you're coming home with Papa. I lured the pigs back to the corrals so we could have some more meat. I planted the seeds so they could start growing. With that out of the way, I decided I wanted to find some diamond so I could really have the edge when fighting Joker and his gang. If that wasn't enough, once I got back to the manor for mining diamonds, I could tell the kids were a little restless. After the horrors the kids of Gotham had seen, they could use a safe and fun place to play. I decided to build them a playroom. Yeah, this is pretty good. I think they'll like it. Better than the dirty Gotham streets anyway. That was enough building for the day. I was pooped, so I went to sleep. On days 63 to 66, I was sleeping in bed when Alfred came and woke me up. You scared the living bats out of me, Alfred. What do you want? He came to inform me he had located one of Joker's caches of gas in the Gotham sewers. Good work, Alfred. But next time, try knocking. I could have been sleeping in just my utility belt. It looked like it's time for another trip into the city. Alfred walked me through where to find the gas. I prepared my armor and weapons and waited for nightfall. Then I headed to Gotham. I found an entrance to the sewers and jumped in. I snuck through the sewer, trying to remember the instructions Alfred gave me, but I started to get confused about where I was once I was down there. Eventually, I came across a sewer rat. Rats! Guess I gotta take out this aggressive rodent. I drew my sword.
Whoa! I'm not gonna attack you. I'm not like that anymore. I'm all about peace and love now.
That's great news. I'm looking for a certain place in the sewers, but I'm getting a bit lost.
Let me guess. You're hunting for Joker's container he's stuck down here, aren't you? If so, I know where it is.
You do? Where is it?
I'll tell you, but I'm gonna need a favor first. You seem like you could help me with my monster problem. It's been terrorizing the rat community down here. What do you say? You down for vanquishing a foe?
I agreed to the challenge and followed him deeper in. On days 67 to 70, the rat and I reached an area with a large pool of sewer water. I don't see a monster.
Just wait.
After some time, I saw something rising to the surface, and out emerged a giant crocodile. The rat scurried away with a squeak. I would too if I was his size, but I was big and strong enough to take him on. Hey Croc, let's rock. It crawled right at me, ready to make me his midnight snack. I drew my sword and swatted away. It was strong enough to cut through his scales. I jumped and dodged its great big snout full of teeth until splash, I fell in the water. The croc is faster in water. Better hurry and get out. Grappling hook, go! I whizzed out of the water and was able to deal a blow from above. I let him have it. He was super strong and got a few good hits at me, but he was no match for Zobat. I got the last hit and he was finished. See you later, alligator.
That was actually a crocodile. But at any rate, I knew you were skilled enough to handle him. Thanks. My rat community can go back to living happy lives. Now, let me make good on my end of the bargain.
The rat led me to where Joker's clown gas was. He couldn't get too close as it was already emitting clownish gases. Luckily, I still had the mask from the factory. I put it on and knocked the tank to bits. The gas was destroyed. Getting rid of that gas has me feeling relieved. On days 71 to 74, I trudged my way out of the smelly sewers, but it wasn't the stinkiest situation I'd been in. To see more on that, check out my other adventures by searching Zozo. I climbed out of the sewer and saw Joker sitting inside a cauldron. He jumped out when he saw me.
Well. Looks like you've been busy. Find what you're looking for, Betsy?
Just visiting my rat friends in the sewers.
You're making house calls to sewer rats when I'll soon be releasing my clown gas all over the world? You're the worst Batman I've ever tormented. It's probably why you were orphaned. You aren't very good at being a hero.
My blood boiled. How would you know anything about that? Is this because you're the evil thug that took my parents' lives? I drew my weapon and lunged at him. Joker dodged and grabbed a golf club. He swung it at me and hit me hard in the head. Ouch! He was so much stronger than I expected. Uh-oh. Joker pulled out a bomb and threw it at me. Kaboom! Then he somehow shot poisonous gas out of his hand. I quickly put on my gas mask. Nice try, Joker, but I'm immune to your poisonous gas.
Are you immune to plasma guns?
We both knew the answer to that. I threw a smoke bomb and took the opportunity to escape.
Where did you go, Betty? We aren't done playing. Don't tell me you've run away. Oh, you spineless rodent! Come back and take your beating! I wasn't finished blowing you up! Ugh!
Joker began throwing a fit. He shot his plasma gun and tossed bombs all around him. One bomb landed a little too close to him and blew him backward. I silently slipped away out of the city. On days 75 to 78, I got back to the manor and looked out over my balcony. I looked worse for wear, but that was nothing to the way I felt on the inside. I felt so defeated. I barely escaped Joker with my life. At this rate, I had no chance at saving Gotham, but everyone was counting on me. I was in over my head. I decided to work on the one thing I knew I could help, the manor. I cleared out the cobwebs, sticks, and rocks in the upstairs room. Then I replaced the broken glass windows and rearranged the furniture. That looks much better. I went to the archery range and boxing ring. Getting these in working order would be good for training. I got them looking tight and was ready to call it a day. Oh wait, I need to finish the downstairs hallway. As I worked on the hallway, the boy I had met in the city came up to me.
Hiya, Mr. Zozo, sir. I wanted to thank you for letting us stay here and making the cool playroom. I've never felt this happy and safe in my whole life. Here, this is for you.
He handed me a dirty-looking friendship bracelet. As soon as I took it, I began to level up. This little kid's love was so pure and powerful that it literally gave me strength. This is exactly what I needed. Thanks, buddy. You're my hero. On days 79 through 84, I went off the grounds to try out my new strength. As I walked through the spruce forest, a mob of spiders came at me. And then a short time later, I came across a few Endermen. They were a piece of cake. How do you like me now? A woman dressed in an all-black catsuit came bounding up to me, seemingly out of nowhere.
Meow. Well, hello there, Bat Boy. What's a big guy like you doing in these parts?
What?
What's the matter? Cat's got your tongue?
Something like that.
You look like you're pretty fast. Care for a race to the other end of the forest?
You're on. We raced through the forest. I used my grappling hook to swing through the trees, while the Catwoman swiftly glided, jumped, and flipped through the air. She was fast, but so was I. We basically tied.
Nah, I won by a whisker.
She was one cool cat. After explaining the situation with Joker, I invited her to come to Wayne Manor and be on our team, but she wanted to remain neutral for now.
I didn't say I was a good kitty, but I'll do you one favor. I know where another stash of gas is. I'll destroy it for you.
She assured me she would take them out from a distance, as to not intake any of the fumes.
Here, take these. Consider these a reward for nearly beating me in a race.
Catwoman handed me a flashy new Sword of Fate and a stack of batarangs. Yes. Finally, a range weapon. Before I could thank her, Catwoman was out of sight, as quickly as she had come. On days 85 to 89, as I approached the manor, I saw that it was under attack by more penguins and thugs. Not again! I was even stronger this time, though. They were messing with the wrong orphaned rich boy. I started annihilating them. I had pecked them off one by one. That's when Joey came running out to me.
Hey, kid. Whoa, you're not a kid no more, are ya? Anyways, some of the penguins have run off with Vicky. They went that way.
I took off on foot to track them down. I eventually followed them to a snowy biome, and I could see their tracks were fresh. It wasn't much longer before I saw a group of penguins marching along with a distressed Vicky in tow. Without alerting them, I swung in silently and started to kick the penguins' tail feathers. Ice to finally catch up to you guys. They squawked and tried to fight back, but they were no match for my newly upgraded strength. Brack! There was one penguin left, and he was much bigger and tougher looking than the rest. Time to take out the mob boss. Ooh, this bird is not going down without a fight.
I'm a penguin, 'cause I bring the pain.
You're a pain in my rear, that's for sure. We began duking it out, flipper to sword. After we smacked each other around for a while, I finally got the last hit. Now you're a Gondwin. I went over to Vicky. You okay, Vicky?
I am now. Thank you. You're really getting good at this. Those smelly penguins were taking me to their lair as a trap, so you would come get me. They didn't expect you to catch up, waddling at their super slow speed. What a bunch of bird brains.
You head back to the manor. I'll go take care of the penguin, once and for all. On days 90 to 94, the penguin and his minions were waiting around the base.
For tuna's sake, where are they? They should have shown up with the bait by now. I worked hard on getting a Yeti here. I shouldn't have to keep waiting to have the Yeti tear the bat dude limb from limb. Gunter, tell me a joke while I wait.
I had stealthily perched on a high point above and decided to respond. What's black, white, and red all over?
A newspaper.
No, it's you, after being thrown to that Yeti you have in that cage.
Gunter, that was uncalled for and highly unprofessional. Bat dude.
I had gotten the jump on Penguin, and boy was he surprised. I soared down from the ledge and began to fight. It was me against an entire den of penguins. Maybe I was crazy, or maybe I was Batman.
Penguins, attack!
They charged at me, and I began taking blows and dealing hits. The fight was bonkers, so many feathers flying around, but I was knocking the penguins out pretty good. It was then that I saw some ice fly past me. Penguin had an ice gun. He hit me a couple times with it, and I was trapped in ice. With me unable to move, the penguins were able to hit me all they wanted. I'm gonna need a good icebreaker for this crowd. On days 95 to 97, I continued tearing it up in Penguin's lair. I had gotten frozen a couple times, but I had my batarangs now. I dealt trouble right back at Penguin. Eventually, I had defeated all the minions, now to deal with Penguin. I neared the Yeti cage and saw a switch next to it. I quickly pressed it. The Yeti came right for Penguin. His own plan backfired on him. Penguin was toast. The Yeti smashed his cold-blooded captor to bits. Vengeance is best served cold. I searched Penguin's base for anything of use. Would you look at that? A grappling hook rocket attachment. Okay, this was going to be fun. Woohoo! I searched some more, and although I didn't find any more cool weapons, I did find something of great importance. The map to the final cache of gas in the city! On day 98, I mined some diamonds on my way back to the manor. Once I arrived, Joey was excited to see I had made it back safe, and was impressed that I had defeated the penguin. He also wanted to tell me what he had been up to.
I have a little surprise for you. I've been collecting materials so you can make an enchanting area, and now I have everything you need for it. You can thank me later.
I took the materials down to my Batcave and set up my enchantment area. I crafted the rest of my diamond into an armor and a pickaxe, and then enchanted my weapons and armor with some basic protection. I then found Alfred to tell him about the map. Alfred, I've discovered the final location for the cache of gas with the help of this map.
That is a relief to hear, sir, as I have not been able to do it with the computer. I did, however, find some wings down in the Batcave. Here, try them on.
I took them outside, and with my new rocket attachment and wings, I could fly short distances. My bat skills were looking sharp. I bet the orphans would get a kick out of this. I better go show them. I found the orphans. They were playing and running around. They seemed at home here at Wayne Manor. I was happy to see that. I saw Commissioner Gordon and Joey nearby. How are your wounds healing up, Mr. Gordon?
I am healing up pretty good. I'll be back in the field in no time.
Looking out from over the balcony, I felt a very strong sense of pride in what we had done here. But now, it was time to go face the Joker. On day 99, I flew off my balcony and reached Gotham. With the map as my aid, I was able to locate the final stash of gas. I swiftly destroyed it. So long as Catwoman held up her end of the bargain, all of the gas should have been destroyed now. We'll see if Joker finds that funny. I flew into the air and soared around the city, looking for signs of Joker. At last, I found a crazy-looking mansion ahead, and instinctively knew that it had to be Joker's lair. I landed in front of the mansion and started fighting the couple of thugs out front. Then I was quickly overwhelmed by thugs running at me from every direction. Okay, maybe I was in over my head.
Oi! Get your dirty little clown hands off our friend!
I looked and saw Joey walking towards me with a big group of his police buddies. I'd never been so relieved. His squad started taking on the thugs, which allowed me and Joey to go inside and confront the Joker. I'm glad I have you by my side, Joey. Now let's make Joker pay for what he's done to the city.
Gladly.
On day 100, we entered Joker's basement, which revealed a funky circular room. Joker was waiting for us.
It's about time. I was growing bored waiting for you. You going to do the whole thing where you try and stop me? And then I tie you up and make you watch the world descend into madness?
I suddenly remembered the face of my parents' killer. You were the one who killed my parents.
Oh, trust me. I wish I could take credit for that. I'd have to be an old man by now to be the one who killed them. Are you saying I look old or something? Rude much? Evil existed in this city before I got here. Maybe you didn't notice because you were too busy being a spoiled rich boy in your fancy mansion. And evil will continue to be here long after I'm gone. Hee hee.
Goodwill also exists. Before, now, and forever. I will do everything I can to fight the evil I find in the city while I'm still here. You can bet on that.
Oh, I hope so. It makes it so much more fun. Like a game of cat and mouse. You're the mouse, by the way. And you took too long to figure out how to stop me, little mouse. 100 days is up. It's like Christmas Day.
Technically, I don't think you can count day 1, so it's only been 99 days.
No, day 1 definitely counted. It's 100 days.
99.
100.
99.
100! It's my plan, and I decide. I'm pushing the button.
Joker slammed his hand down on the button to release the gas. Huh, that's weird. I don't hear any reactions to the gas. Must be because I destroyed all the gas before I came here. My bad. He pushed another button, and this time, some poisonous gas came rising from the vents. I was trapped in the gas. But again, I just quickly threw on my mask. Any effects it would have had dissipated. Face it, Joker, it's over. You lost.
Oh, it's far from over, Batsy.
Joker pulled a lever on the wall. This caused the pipe doors to open, and a mixture of Smilex liquid and gas came pouring out. Joker stepped into the ooze and gas. He really was mad. Joker started to transform before our very eyes. He was morphing into a giant, super Joker monster.
You know, I think it's time to play Whack-A-Bat.
Joker swung his golf club, bludgeoning me. I used my enchanted batarangs, grappling hook, sword, and C4 explosions to fight the Joker. Joker used his plasma gun, golf club, gas attack, and occasionally some bombs. It was a battle royale. Well, more like a battle carnival. I looked up and noticed a giant chandelier was above us, barely holding on. At the right moment, I threw a batarang at it. It dropped and crushed Joker. He gave a weak laugh and then drew his last breath. Joker was dead. His reign of terror was over. Joker was gone, but as he said, evil still remained. So here I wait in the night to help the innocent and reap vengeance upon thugs of the city. A bat symbol shined across the sky. That's my cue. Gotham needs me.